Hey, hey, hey. What's up, everybody? How we doing tonight? Good to see y'all. Good to have you here. Was that irritating enough when I said it like that? What's going on? Thank you for joining me tonight, guys. Happy Saturday to everyone. Good to see y'all and good to be here with y'all. Hope everybody's having a great weekend so far. I know I am. Thank you for joining me tonight, folks. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see ya. Somebody threw up the Dago signal, and here I am. Miss Molly did that, I believe. Anyway, thank you for joining me tonight, guys. I know it's late, but hey, what a better way to shut off the weekend than to hang out with my favorite peeps in the whole world. Just saying. Just saying. So anyway, welcome everybody. For those of you that are here, thank you for being here. I know a lot of you guys were over there watching the cartoon episode that's going on right now. More power to you. I was there too. When I could be. I was blocked and banned, or timed out and banned a couple different times, even though it's been said that that doesn't happen. You know how that goes. So be it. Here we are. Welcome back, everybody. We got 60 beautiful peeps in here tonight. Thank you for being here. Again, 28 likes, guys. Hit the like button on the way in the door, if you don't mind, and leave a little bit of DNA, if you will. It is so very appreciated. Very, 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 very. So let's see. It's just me tonight. Mama Bear, of course, is in bed. It's late. Molly said she may jump back over here in a little bit. She's a little busy. Let's see who else we are so gifted to see tonight. It looks like Miss Sherry's in the house. Wisdom Speaks. Thank you for joining us. Doodle Fart. Thank you for being here. Jaylet, good to see you. Mr. A.R. Hayes is in the house. Thank you for joining us tonight, sir. M-Cause, welcome back to you, Cat K. Great to see you, my dear. Miss Valerie Hope. Same to you. Shock, baby. How you doing? Good to see you. Miss Crystal, thank you for being here tonight. Of course, Brandy B, the OG's in the house. Good to see you, Brandy. Thank you for joining us, dear. Cryptic Conversions, welcome back to you. Charlotte Gross, same to you. The lovely Miss Josie's in the house. What's going on, dear? Of course, Miss Carolyn Miller as well. Donna Wilson, good to see you. Hey, Paige, how you doing tonight, my dear? Rock Chalk, say my name, say my name. Oh, that was horrible, I know. Do you guys want me to say your name? I promise you, if you throw pennies at me, I'll say your name. Come on, guys. Come on, come on. That's ridiculous. Anyway, what's going on? Rock Chalk, I hope you're feeling better, my dear. I really do. In my opinion, good to see you. Thank you for joining us again. Donna Wilson, good to have you here. Missy Moo, how are you? Natural Healing, good to see you. Mystic Virgo's in the house. How are you? How are you? Good to see you tonight. Thank you for joining us. Looks like Jeff H2's in the house. Good to see you. Let me see here. Do 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 do. Boo 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 boo. Should I sing to you guys? I don't think you want me to. Probably wouldn't be good. Probably wouldn't be good. Not tonight, at least. I gotta build myself up for that, you know. Tara, thank you for joining us tonight. Good to see you. Good to have you here. Kitty Quarters, always good to see you, my dear. Thank you for being here. Cat K, I did say hi to you already. I'm sorry. Michael Wimmer, thank you for being here. Good to see you. Marina Girl, thank you for joining us tonight. Miss Zelda, always happy to have you. Nevada Cops is in the house. What's going on? Good to see you. Let me see here. North Carolina Mountain Man, what is up, brother? Good to see ya. Thank you for joining us. There's that guy, that True Crime Cafe with Dago guy. What a piece of shit, guys. Jeez. Telling you. Master manipulator. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. I know, Dive. What's up, darling? Good to see you. The Raging Cajun is in the house. What's going on? Oh, shit. Guys? Nope. Okay, we're good. Sorry, I was going to say. I like to take these when I'm drinking these and I throw them in the freezer to get them like really, really cold, almost slushy. And I forget them sometimes. I thought I forgot one, but I didn't. Let's see. Jen Puff. Hello. Good to see you. Thank you for joining us. Cal, what's going on? Good to have you here tonight. All right. The Richards Art. What's up, Richard? Good to see you, Mojo. What's going on, brother? Good to have you here. Doodlebug fart. Doodlebug fart. Lisa Hedrick, great to see you. Come on, guys. You got to throw that money at me for me to say your name. You know how that works, right? Right. Yeah, anyway. Gemma PT, what's going on? Good to see you. I always screw that up. Bobby, old dude, what's going on, brother? Good to see you tonight. Kelly Mack, welcome back. What's up, Cryptic? Good to see you. Charisma, welcome back to you. 95 people, guys. Come on in and find a seat. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night to you all. I hope it's good for you because it's good for me to be here with you all. I love it. I love it. You guys are my favorite peeps. Ray Baldick, good to see you. Good to have you here. Oh, absolutely, AR. I love them Pepsi slushies. I used to stop at Circle K way back in the day and throughout the day in the summertime mostly. Dark Angel 88, thank you for joining us tonight. They had Mountain Dew and Coke slushies in the machines. Oh my God, I loved them. I'd mix it together. I would mix it together, or they had a cherry one with a Coke, and I'd mix the cherry with the Coke. It was amazing. Too much sugar in that stuff, folks. It's really bad for you. Walt Harris, what's going on? Good to see you, bro. Neighbor. The lovely Miss Ashley Nicolette's in the house, too. Cal, good to see you. Doc Terry, always a pleasure to have you here. I need to talk to you. Let's see here. Chris Doheny, thank you for joining us. Frozen Cokes, my God, they were so good. They were so good. As we get older, though, we can't have that stuff. It's not good for you, you know? You know, that's fact, Jeff. I hate to see it, but that's a fact. I hate to see the police spoken badly and accused of acting badly, but then you got a former officer acting this way. It's got to be embarrassing to other, former police officers. I know my uncle, father, and my grandfather would just be like, wow, that one's a winner. Seriously. Let's see. Eve Lucky, how are you tonight, my dear? Good to see you. Come on in, guys. Grab a seat. 99 peeps. I got 99 peeps, but an idiot ain't one. How about that? That's right, Josie. That's right. H2 is the real Jeff. The original Jeff H is not. So watch out for that one. If that one comes back in here, I think it's already been banned, but go ahead and ban it. Ausane, what's going on? T, how are you tonight? Thank you so much, Richard. Watch giving me money, guys. Seriously, watch sending me money. I don't want to be taking advantage of anybody, guys. Seriously, nobody needs to do that. It is what it is. I'm just saying. Piss on that. I'm not going to send any money. Crap. Oops, I have an update on my project and a couple thoughts on cases if you want to go on an adventure. We can talk about it, Richard. No problem, buddy. Thank you for that, though. Once again, I do appreciate it. Oh, I know, Katie. I wish you wouldn't have went in there, hon, because the way those people are in there, they don't care who you are or what you are. They're succubuses, They will latch on and try to suck any life out of people. It's just not fair. So I'm sorry, Katie, you had to go through that. Just calm yourself down, breathe, and try to enjoy yourself tonight if you can. Aloha to you, Austin and Richard. What's your Patreon? Rather give directly PayPal. I have PayPal, buddy. I don't have Patreon. I know I don't know. Does anybody want to throw $3,000 into one of those? I mean, the things that are said are so ridiculous, you guys. I have received donations from people, and I've explained that to a lot of you guys, but it is what it is. I've never asked for it. Yeah, there is a PayPal right there, Richard, on that, right there on that thing. Thank you, Sherry, for that. And again, guys, I'm not even going to talk about it. It's what it is. Okay, Katie, as long as you're okay, darling, I hope you're all right. I'm sorry for that. I'm sorry that you had to go through that. Carolyn says, my uncle's father was a police chief in New Jersey in the 60s. He was a mafia man. Wow, I have not thought of him for 55 years. It's a long time. Long time. Knob swabber. Either way. Paladin, what's up, buddy? I seen you was over there too, AR. I'm sure you got bounced like I did. Envision, here to listen. Good for you. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate you. Absolutely do. Honest truth. When Detective John came up with the idea of going after YouTubers, one of the main reasons I was against it was because I knew it would end what I love doing. Going, well, I don't know, but thank you, Jeff. I appreciate the thought. I do. What's up with that? Don't dive. You got to be careful, darling. I hope you're okay. I really do. Good to see you, Paladin. Walt Harris. Envision. Here to listen. Yes, yes, yes. So, I guess I got to clarify a couple things for anybody that was listening. It's all widely known. It is widely known that I have ADHD. And it's also widely known that when I get angry about things, like most people, I have a tendency to stutter. So I guess people clipping people getting angry and stuttering is a thing to do now. So that's what that's all some of that stuff is. Thank you. Walt is a huge. Oh, absolutely, Calco. Absolutely. I love Walt. So if anybody has questions about anything that was over there, I'll answer anything you want, guys. I'm just letting you know. That's all I'm saying. It's all good. If you have any questions, please ask. I have no qualms with answering. I do want to explain one thing though, and it kind of really upsets me. I meant to send this to Kelly over there for some boxed hair dye. Oh my God. All right, Josie girl. I gotcha. Yeah, that's what it is, Healing. I have a tendency if I get angry or upset about something, I will stutter around what I'm trying to say because I'm trying and I think a lot, I lift my head up and I think about things because I'm trying to think of the right thing to say so that I don't come off like an idiot or I don't sound rude or ignorant at times. So that's what that is. Oh, you know what? Actually, Doc, I thought it was gonna bug me, but I actually feel kind of good tonight about it. I do. I do. I really do. That's no lie, folks. One thing I do want to say though, this bothers me. So years ago, I did get a citation for, and it was kind of embarrassing because I was a firefighter, folks. I know better. I ran over a fire hose. It wasn't inflated at the time. It was still flat. They were stretching it out in my vehicle because my sister-in-law, my wife's sister, her house was on fire. Okay. We lived down the road from her at that time. It was in Leavittsburg, Ohio. Her house burnt to the ground that day, folks. She had 3 children under the age of 2. Okay. She had a set of twins that were babies, and then a 1.5-year-old, and she had 2 older boys. We saw the smoke from my house and didn't realize what it was. Okay. And I'm like, no, 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 no. I said it was coming from the direction of her sister's house, but why would I think it was her sister's house? So I was like, at that point, I was out of the fire service and I hadn't been in it for a little while, so on and so forth. And I was kind of like, hey, Cynthia, good to see you. I was kind of like and I'm still like that. Like when I see fire trucks go by, I'm like a dog, and I chase them sometimes. I want to see what's going on. So, she's the same way because it was in our neighborhood. So we wanted to go see where that smoke was going. It was black smoke, lots of it too. And it was literally like, looked like it was about 500 yards from our house. So we jumped in the car, started heading that direction. And as the closer we're getting, the closer she's like, it's really close to my sister's house, hon. I said, yeah, but it's probably like right next door, which is still dangerous. So be it. So we pull around the corner and I looked over. I said, honey, it's your sister's house. What the hell? And I sped up and she's freaking out. She wanted to jump out of the car on the way there because we were at her sister's house that morning. This was like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And it was actually her twin baby's birthday. Yeah. St. Patrick's Day. I remember that. And we were there that morning and she was going to have a little get together for the babies that afternoon, so on and so forth. We pull around the corner. You got to go down a hill. You come around a corner, and then she lived up on a hill. Big old yellow farmhouse. It was her sister's house, fully blazing. And it was so windy that day. I mean, it was bad. And my wife was trying to jump out of the car. I don't know if she thought her sister and the babies were still in the house or what, and was going to run at the house. And I'm like, no. And I'm holding her. So I was trying to get in and around the area to park to get out. And I had to run over a flat fire hose. I got a citation from the fire chief who contacted the police department at that time. And they didn't want to do it, but it's a law. You have to do it. It was a flattened out fire hose, obviously, whatever. And it's embarrassing. I knew better. It's stupid, but we were kind of in panic mode because my sister-in-law's house was burning to the ground. My wife was trying to run at the house, scared to death that her sister and the babies were in the house. I'm trying to control her, trying to find a place to park, trying to think. It just didn't work, folks. That's why that happened, okay? I'm not a stupid person. It is an embarrassing thing, but that's what that's all about. So if these people, these non, sensitive people that have zero, what do you want to call it? Couth or uh, empathy for anybody, don't like it, then that's all I can say to you. Okay. Cause I would do it again, especially for a family member, whatever. So be it. That's why that happened, guys. I'm not perfect. Like I said before, I've had citations for traffic things. I've had this, I've had that. I've been arrested and sat in jail for a weekend. One time I explained to you way, 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 way back when. So whatever. It doesn't even matter to me. I don't care. So whatever, moving on. But that fire hose thing, it's kind of embarrassing. That's why I wanted to explain it. Like, what idiot runs over a fire hose, especially one that's been in the fire service, So be it. So be it. And I guess now I'm going to have to break out. I'm going to have to go find my certificate from graduating from the fire academy and shove it on the screen, since that seems to be the thing to do now. It's around here somewhere. I'll show it. No big deal. No big deal. I have to dig it out. We're not very organized when it comes to some of that stuff because we've moved recently in the past few years a couple of times because of people selling houses and stuff. John has aggravated stocking and battery charges. Yeah, I know. Well, according to him, they're no big deal, but according to him, they're no big deal. Yeah, that's true too. That's true too. My son, when I did that one the other night when I was live and I brought him on, my son wanted to be in. I said, no, you're 17. This is not something you need to be involved in. I would never put my kid in that. That's insane. What's up, Leslie? Good to see you. Absolutely, Jen. Absolutely. Thank you guys for being here tonight, though. I appreciate it. I really do. Doc Terry, thank you. We have all made mistakes, said things we may regret. It's part of being human. We live and learn. We don't use others as targets for our anger. Yeah, that's fact. That's fact. I'm a pathological liar, though. That's another one that really blows my mind. You take people's mistakes and turn them into, pathological lies. I have a very bad memory, you guys. Very bad memory. It's a fact. And it's because of that. Okay. I'm not trying to make excuses. It's true. Okay. And I do forget things and I do make mistakes because of that. Again, I'm sorry that I'm human. That's all I can say. Kelly Land, thank you for joining us. Missy Moo. Good point. Good point. And by the way, you guys, I just want to make it known they do block people over there and time them out. It happened to me. I don't know. What the hell did I just do? How many times I can't even explain to you guys? Probably 7 times. It did happen. Okay. So just know it's true. I have screenshots of it to show you guys. I'm on my phone. Either way. So thank you, Debbie. I appreciate that. It is true. It's really sad because that is the only kind of content he puts out. Really? Jesus, if that was that easy, I'd have thought about that a long time ago, but I'm not that person. I wouldn't do that. Life, love, and true crimes in the house. What's going on? Good to see you, sis. Again, Reverend Cynthia, thank you for those slippers. They are so very warm, comfortable, and thank you so much for making those once again. I appreciate it very much. Very, very much. Good point, Leslie. Good point. Cryptic conversions. Great to see you guys here. Great. Yes, she is a member, guys. Reverend Cynthia is a member. Upstate New York. What's going on? Thank you for joining us tonight. Absolutely, Donna. That's one thing he's very good at, guys. I did realize that. He's good. Very great. He's a great bully. Great bully. What's up? Kate Pruitt or CJ, whoever that is, CJ Pruitt or Kate Pruitt. Thank you for joining us tonight. Good point, Jeff. So I don't know. We don't have to. I thought we could come in, maybe talk a little bit about the IGG stuff, or we can just hang out and talk about whatever the hell you guys want to talk about. It's Saturday night. It's up to you guys. Absolutely up to you guys. I could do either one. I'm good with either. I'm sorry it's late. But like I said, my grandkids were here all night, all day, up until about 2 hours ago, and then I wanted to catch a little bit of that awesome cartoon over there. And the other one, Miss Draw Latina in the house, Doc. How are you? I got both of the docs in here I wanted to talk to because I really do now. I know this was supposed to happen a while back with all that drama crap that happened and everything that had been going on. I didn't get the chance to get it together. I still want to have this mental health show, guys. I really do. And I need to get together with both of you ladies and get together about scheduling, and I need to make something happen because I want to get it out there. I really, really, really want to get it out there. It's very important to me. So we will get together and talk about this. Miss Page, just go night with Dago. Yes, yes, yes. It's wonderful to see you, Doc. Thank you for joining us, both of you guys. Doc Terry, Doc Dra Latina, thank you for being here. Very, very, very wonderful to have you in the house tonight. All of you. Yes, crime solver. That's what my point is. Um, People have a rough time when it gets close to the holidays, guys. I know they do. Um, I do in some aspects, and it's important, So we're gonna do this. That's right. That's right, Murky. Good to see you, Murky. Yes, yes. And a reason why you had mentioned before, Doc Terry, that you'd be down for that, because mental health affects your physical health as well, folks. It very much does, and it can. So, excuse me. So, I just to have you both involved would be wonderful if you're still both interested in that. Good point, in my opinion. Brandy, you watched the Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. Yeah, you that'll make you never look at Disney the same way. That's absolutely right, Sherry, and that's what I'm saying. It becomes welcome, Bianca. It becomes a sad time for a lot of people, and it does engage mental health, folks. It causes it brings it up. It really does. Welcome, Rowena. Thank you for joining us. 140 beautiful peeps in here. We got 78 likes, guys. Let's get it close if we can. Yes, that's true too, Mystic. Very true. Very true. That's another show that there should be about cyberbullying. It's a good point, Doc. Very good point. Very good point. Silence no more. Welcome. Good to see you. I wanted to also, since I have a lot of people in here, reiterate that the end of this month, we're having the giveaway, folks. That sweater is being given away, and $50 is being given away. Depending on what goes down, I might do two $50 giveaways along with that sweater. We'll see what happens. I can't promise that yet, but the sweater and the $50 giveaway are definitely happening at the end, towards the end of this month, folks. So be prepared for that. We were supposed to do it. I wanted to actually do it last month during October, got all screwed up. All screwed up. It really did because of a lot of stuff that was going on. So, oh Lord, Miss Brandy, you didn't have to do that. And I thank you and appreciate you so very much, my dear. More than you know. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Um, God bless. Thank you so much. Very much. But that's happening, guys. And that's, again, just trying to give a little bit back to you guys for all the support that you guys have given this channel just by being here. So that is going to be happening. Yeah, Brandy, that was very sweet of you. And thank you very, very much. It is going by very quick, Kelko. I agree. I agree for sure. Wow. I'm sorry, Chris. Very sorry. My wife's grandmother died on December 20th as well. Christmas is a little rough for her too. That's what I'm saying, guys. It's bombshell. What's going on? It's very difficult for a lot of people in different ways, sadly. It was, yes, it was. I can't remember the name. It was. She went by the name Nookie, I think. Nukki. Noni. Um, Mick Poppins came in the other night and stated it. It's very sad. I'm very sad for that person's family. And again, it's just horrible. Rockin' reaction rollers. Thank you, Paige. Again, very, very much. Guys, you don't have to do that, but I do very much appreciate it. Rockin' reaction rollers. There you go. You're sitting right under your firelight behind you. It makes you look like a kid. Thank you, Rockin' Reactions. And thank you for joining us tonight. Again, Paige, thank you for that, darling. I appreciate that very, very much. I've been told that, Paladin, by a lot of people. Um, a lot of people, and it actually goes against something else I found out too. Lisa and Cannoli, what's going on? Good to see you. Because I'm disabled now, guys, and there's something called the American Disability Act. Yeah, so he can. I hope let him keep going, doing what he's doing. Mama Five, what's going on? Good to see you. Great to see you guys tonight. So, um, and again, guys, everybody in here, I appreciate you all. I appreciate you guys respecting each other. And I appreciate that, of course, you guys will. You guys are amazing. Absolutely amazing. I really, 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 what did I do with my phone? Really appreciate you guys being here. Hold on a minute, guys. I think I might have moved it. 1 second. Hold up. 'Oh my God. Right in front of my face. I need some new glasses, folks. Definitely need to get my eyes checked. 1 second, guys. Excuse me. Okay. Dinky. Diggy Diggy. What's going on, brother? That's a fact, my friend. That's a fact. Thank you for being here, buddy. It's good to see you. Been missing you. Been missing you. Most definitely been missing you. It's great to see you here tonight, though. Thank you for joining us tonight. Very much so. All right, let me see here. Mm, oh, come on. What's going on here? Is that the one? Nope. Hold on, guys. I'm working on it. I wasn't sure I was going to be able to do this tonight, so I'm a little bit unorganized, and my apologies. Not as if I haven't been before, but I'll get it together here, guys. Possibly. One moment, please. Oh my God, I can't pull it up now? What's going on? No way. No way. I know it's not taken down. Something's going on somewhere else. Hold on a minute. I'm struggling with something, folks. Sorry. I know it is there. I know it didn't go away. Where the hell is it, though? Where is it? Bear with me, guys. Thank you for being patient. What the hell? There's a link that I have that just normally works fine, and all of a sudden it stopped working. Wait a minute. Is this it? Aha. Please work. It's working. Thank the Lord. Whew. Freaked me out for a minute. Definitely freaked me out for a minute. Why aren't any of us showing up as members? You're all green, Reverend. All you guys are showing up as members. You are. At least in my chat, you are. And in the YouTube chat, you are. You're all green. Except for the mods, they're blue. Yeah, it's all green. That's what memberships, people that have memberships or are members are green, Reverend. And you are definitely. Sometimes it helps if you go out and come back in, Cynthia. It might change it. That could be what it is. But you're showing up to me green, and you're definitely a member. So, oh no, you're okay, Leslie. I mean, I can't control what you want to do, dear, but don't worry about it for me. Um, well, like I said, Jeff, I gotta talk to some mods about things and this and that. It wasn't. It was a combined effort, so we'll just go with the way things are for now until I can do that. A lot of people have been busy, but we'll see what we can come up with. Lord, it takes forever to get in here. So, okay. Now, I don't know what you guys have been following with this, and I know. I mean, you don't have to, Leslie. I'm okay, hon. He doesn't bother me. Really, he doesn't. Um, Actually, you're green, Chris. You're green too. Somebody else. Oh, Deborah Lynn Polly Putnam. Bianca K. If I missed anybody by name, I'm sorry, guys. I just didn't see you. Tabitha Johnson, thank you for being here. Well, thank you, Tabitha. I appreciate that. It's not that serious. It really isn't. Yes, being a boomer is okay. Oh, I understand, Draw. I do understand. Sooner Girl, there she is. Good to see you. Thank you, Shelly Steer. Same to you. Good to see all of you. All of you guys. You guys are amazing. I got you, Dinky. I got you, buddy. Well, I'm glad to see you here, taking some time to be here, brother. We appreciate you. I appreciate you very, very much. And I've been talking about it. I missed you. Don't worry about it, Brandy dear. Oh, Ray concerns. Where are we at? Let me find it here. Hold on. No, Ray. No. None of your information is exposed from you being here. Um, no 12. I'm in Ohio still. I'm not at my Hawaiian property right now. No worries. No, we're good, Jeff. I don't hold grudges, like I said, but Martin Catchpole. So be it. Good luck with it, Martin. Thanks for the info, but I appreciate you being here. Let him do what he's got to do. There's not much of one, but let him do what he's got to do. Anybody wants to ask away. I'll tell you the whole truth on it. Nothing but the truth. So help me God. Good Lord, Carolyn, that's horrible. Right. All right, let me see here. No problem, Doc Terry. Take your time. So like I said, some people had requested this stuff. We're gonna talk a little bit about it tonight, and then after that, we'll talk about whatever anybody else wants to talk about. Thank you, Bobby. We're still following you in your real world instead of the narcissistic imagine. Thank you. I appreciate it. That's pretty much what it is. That's what I was. That's what my conclusion is. Um, it's not taken down, Martin. It's there right now. In fact, hold on a minute. I'll show you. One uno momento, as I like to say. Hold on a second. Let me see here. It's called One Night of Immaturity. Where is it at here? It is up. It has been up. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. It's right here, bud. All you got to do is go into my. Hold on a minute. If you want to see it, all you want to do is go into my videos or live. It should be. It's called One Night. Let's talk. One Night of Immaturity, and it's one night only. See, it's right there. That's it. The whole thing, all of it. It's in my lives, bud. Go check it out if you'd like to. That was Randy Fur was on panel first, which he disrespected for no reason. And then he popped up behind him. He didn't send me any kind of a message because I don't have him on my phone. Um, Black threatening to not bring him up. I put the link in there, giving him an option to come up on purpose, guys. I never had any thoughts of not letting him come up, so that it's just ghost gaslighting is all he's doing with everybody, so it's okay. Excuse me. It's probably not very smart. He should probably leave AR alone. I just want to make sure everybody's good with this. Yeah, I'm telling you right now, Martin, it's nothing special. I was irritated through it the whole time just because I had to hear his disgusting voice. So it's not very good of me, video of me. That's pretty good there. Yeah, probably. It's probably what happened, Piglet. Probably, sadly. Absolutely, Leslie. As long as everybody else is good with it. A lot of people had requested that we talk about the IGG stuff in Idaho. That's what I figured I would do. Um, and if I can bring this up, there it is. because it's kind of wild, folks. What's going on with that? As long as you guys are good with that, we'll do that if that's what you guys want. Unless you want to talk about something else. Rock chalk, what's up? Yeah, Cynthia, I was gonna tell you, she loved them, absolutely loves them. She actually wore one to work this morning. My granddaughter grabbed the pink one and tried to throw it on her head herself. It looked very cute on her, by the way. My wife said, "No, that's mine." She was like, "But I want it, Nini." So they were fighting over them because they're so nicely done, and they're very, very, very good work, Cynthia. And I can't believe you did them so fast. I think we handled that situation, Dinky. Honestly, I'm pretty sure we did at that point. We've been dealing with that for a while, bud. Um, I'm pretty sure we handled it though. Miss Pamela, good to see you. Yeah, Tabitha, we're in Ohio and it is freezing. It has been here. Today wasn't so bad. I think the Browns play at 1 tomorrow. I hope. You don't have to apologize, Kate Pruitt, at all. Don't worry about that. Mama 5, congratulations on being a grandma for the first time. Absolutely, Leslie. I agree. No problem, Ashley. No problem. Yep, yep, yep. Make a sherry. All right, guys. Welcome, Jenny Phillips from Indiana. White House donuts. Well, we're not talking about them donuts tonight. Not gonna do it. I can't. I can't. Hey, what's going on over here? Richard and Silence No More. I think that was misunderstanding Silence No More because that's Richard doesn't do that. Oh yeah, of course, Debbie. Good luck. I mean, I know you can handle it. So, Demon Dog. Um, I don't. I can't give an answer to that right now. I don't know. I'm on the fence. That's why I said I've never. He's innocent until proven guilty. I've always stuck with that. I've never claimed for him to be innocent or guilty because, in my opinion, I just haven't yet seen enough evidence to make my mind believe that he's guilty. Okay, or innocent for that matter. I'm on the fence with it. I have been from the beginning, really, since he was arrested. I just can't decide. I've tried. Oh, okay, bombshell. Thank you. That's it. Not guilty until he's innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. And that's just because that's the way it's supposed to be. You know, if they drop something tomorrow by some chance, or Monday by some crazy chance, that say they dropped a video of him getting in and out of his car, going in and out of the house or something, hallelujah. Because then I have something to go with. Then I can say inevitably that I think Brian did this. That's all. But now that we have this IgG stuff, I don't know if you guys have seen these things and everything that's been going on about this, guys. This doesn't make any sense. This is crazy stuff. Order addressing the IgG DNA and order for in-camera review, which just means that it's being reviewed in quarters with the judge, so on and so forth. Thank you so much, Kate. I do appreciate that very much from you and CJ. Very, very much. And I appreciate you so much for that, both of you guys. Right. Try not to let it bother you, Dinky. I know it's harder, easier said than done, brother, but just try not to let it bug you, brother. It's not worth being upset about. It's wasting your breath and your energy worrying about somebody like that. It's just not right. Straight from the horse's mouth. What's up, Todd? Good to see you. Good to have you here. So this stuff that was talked about with the IgG thing, what does anybody have any theories, thoughts, opinions, or anything on this stuff, guys? That's what we're here talking about tonight. There's been a couple other creators that have dropped videos on it that have been really interesting. Jules of all trades, true crime. I love her to death. Hers most definitely really, really caught my attention. I don't know if you guys saw it, but it was just like, wow. And it makes sense. The way that they've explained this, they're talking about there's two different profiles, this way, that way. If you read it a certain way, it comes off this way. This doesn't make sense over here about that. Even Drunk Turkey, I think, put out something about Brian, his long lost brother did something. It's just crazy. Everybody is reading this and they're going, what the hell is going on? I understand, Dinky. I get it, brother. I just said try. I understand how you are. I know. That's why I kept saying try. I don't know, Todd. That's I don't know. I don't know a lot about them. Welcome from Niagara Falls. Good to see you. Good to have you here. Hold on a minute. Okay. Now it's Buckman. Welcome back. Good to see you. I'm trying to see if anybody has any thoughts on this. I'm not feeling too bad, Todd. Thank you. And that's right. The court doesn't even seem to know what's going on with this. Okay. So let me read this part here, and I do, Ray. I may have. I watched one of your old lives that talked about BK family. Do you remember that? I think I might. It's been a while, but I might remember little bits of it. Did you have questions on it or anything I can answer for you? So, Kim Barnier. Thank you for joining us. All right, so this is. Let me see here. The introduction. I don't want to. It take forever to go through all of this. All right, so just to give it a welcome, Golf Inspector. Welcome, Jamie Rosberg. 168 awesome peeps in here. Thank you for joining me tonight, guys. It's great to see you. On November 13th of 2023, 4 University of Idaho students were found unalived as part of law enforcement's investigation into the unalivings. The FBI employed the use of investigative genetic genealogy, IgG, using DNA located on a K-bar knife sheath found at the crime scene through the IgG process. the FBI constructed a family tree of individuals whose DNA matched with the DNA found on the knife sheath. The FBI sent local law enforcement in a tip. That's always been the key word, a tip, okay, to investigate defendant Brian Koberger. Koberger was arrested December 30th of 2022 and charged with 4 counts of unaliving in the first degree and 1 count of burglary. Nothing about law enforcement's use of IgG was used to obtain the arrest warrant for Koberger or to obtain the search warrant for his DNA. The state has now filed a motion to prevent the disclosure of the IgG information to the defense. So, in essence, Mystic, good to see you. And in essence, that says in layman's terms, the prosecution filed a motion to prevent the IgG information from being seen by the defense. Why? I think they should have the right to see that, okay? But so be it. That's what they're doing. What did you just do, Brandy? Gifted 5 memberships. Good Lord, dear. Let's see who got them. Thank you so very much for that, my dear. And I don't see it in here yet. Where's it at? You didn't have to do that, but thank you so very much, Miss Brandy. I can't tell who got them, guys. I don't see it. Hold on. Where is it? Oh, here it is. All right, so it looks like Bobby Old Dude. Oh, where'd it go already? It's jumping. Kim Barnier, Bobby Old Dude, Crime Sleuthin, Mystic Virgo. Did I miss somebody? Mystic Virgo, Crime Sleuthin, Kim Barnier, Bobby Old Dude. Oh, and Golf Inspector. All right. Welcome, guys. Got some new meatballs in the house. Thank you so much for that, Brandy. That's so very awesome of you. God bless. And welcome to the sauce, guys. It's great to have you guys here. You're an angel, Brandy. Thank you for that, hon. Very, very much. Welcome to the family, everybody. Great to have you here. Oop, where'd it go? Okay. So, sorry about that. All right, you are saucy now, Golf Inspector. Back to where I was. The defense, of course, opposes the motion and filed a motion to compel, requesting discovery of everything pertaining to the IgG investigation, including the family tree built by the FBI, which is how they came upon Brian being, his DNA being the DNA that they needed to use, guys. So, can you do a deep dive on this guy, Ian? We covered him long ago. Oh, yeah. We went over, Todd. We covered him a long time ago. Long time ago. And we went pretty deep on him, too. Sus to us. 6 grand jurors want more info from the state. Yeah. That was quite suspicious. I get it. It was interesting, to say the least. And they were denied. So, back to this. Sorry, guys. Disclosure of information gathered from an IgG investigation. Sorry. Where'd it go? Is an issue of first impression in Idaho. The state claims the IgG information was not used to obtain any warrant and will not be used in trial. For the reasons set forth below, the court... Sorry about that, guys. Actually, let me blow that up a little bit bigger for you guys if I can. I don't know why it's doing that. Okay, here we go. 1 second, guys. Why is this doing this? Hold on a minute. Okay. No? What just happened here? Hold on a minute. Here we go. Sorry about that, folks. Okay. I had a little bit of a technical issue there. But anyway. Is everything okay over here? It's a good point, Lisa. Very good point. And you did, Brandy, and I appreciate you so much for that, my dear. Good Lord. And Golf Inspector just did it as well. Thank you, Golf Inspector, very much. It looks like, why can't I keep my chat is behind? I haven't even caught up with it yet. So it looks like Michael Wimmer, Mama 5, Deborah Lynn Polly Putnam, Beboppity Bop, and Demon Dog were gifted memberships. That's amazing. Sorry, guys, my soundboard's not hooked up tonight. It was amazing. Golf Inspector, thank you so very much for that. And welcome again, guys. Welcome to the new members of the chat. Welcome to the new meatball. Great to have you guys in the sauce. So very much. It's very sweet of you, Golf Inspector. Thank you for that. Oh, Katie, have a good night, darling. Thank you for being in here, and I hope you have a wonderful night, and I will see you soon. Again, thanks, guys. Bad check records. $50,000. That's not even close to true. Once again, taking something and twisting it. So be it. So be it. Whatever. My first wife got us into a lot of stuff, guys, and back in the day, but whatever. So I don't care. Whatever. Emo Girl 2023. Okay, thank you for joining us. I'm sorry to hear that. I hope you feel better. All right. Back to this. Did you guys want to cover this? I don't know. If you guys don't want to, we don't have to talk about it. A lot of people had said they wanted to. It just doesn't seems like some guys might not be interested in this. If you're not, it's perfectly fine, folks. I only put this up here and was talking about because I thought everybody wanted to. We can just sit here and talk about whatever else, guys. It doesn't matter to me. Whatever you guys want to do, it's up to you. Okay, Mojo says yes. Let's talk about it. Wait a minute, what? Dago, did you hear Benny's chat? Summer Wells, there's some creators who know what happened. Really? No, I did not, Leslie. That's brand new info to me. Okay, Josie. The stream is blurry. Like I said, I planned on doing this Monday, but some people mentioned it for tonight. We don't have to do it tonight. We can do it Monday, like I planned on doing. FBI revisiting the house. Yes, that did happen. It is late, so maybe we just won't do that tonight then. We can talk about, your guys' thoughts on the IGT stuff. Most of you guys have already talked about it. That's a good point too, Lisa. From a common sense point of view, if IgG was used to identify a suspect, doesn't that link the IgG to the subsequent warrants for the suspect? That was what my thought was, Bobby. That literally was what I thought. Okay. That's why none of this makes any sense to me. The FBI went back to the house supposedly because they were doing digital models and things like that for the trial, okay, for the prosecution. And when I found that out, I was curious, okay. I was definitely curious because I wanted to know if they were planning on going to court for this for the trial on October 2nd. They didn't have that info. What happened? No problem, Martin. Um, but it sure is weird the FBI went back right now after the IGD stuff. That's a good point. Golf inspector, did you want to join me up here and talk about that stuff? You're welcome to. There's a link right there if you'd like to join me, golf inspector. There you go. Click that link and jump on up here, my dear. I'd like to hear your side of it too. I mean, it was quite interesting to me that, like I said, we were supposed to go to trial for this on the 2nd. Okay. They had talked about tearing the house down in October, same thing. Okay. And then they were going to go do this trial, and they didn't have this info. How was that going to even happen? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Hi.
Welcome. Thank you for
Thank,
joining us.
thank you. Yeah, I got my theories on that one.
Absolutely.
It's probably a
Uh,
little bit different, but yeah,
okay.
that came at a very convenient time. But also, if you look at it this way, the FBI, this is the FBI, right? They're
Yep.
not going to take any chances, and they know that someone fucked up. I'm sorry,
No, you're okay. You're okay.
someone messed up, and they're just going in there to cover their bases because they know that there's something going on here. And I'm wondering, like, if anybody knows, was it the FBI that did that initially? Is all I need to know.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Because if it was not, then this is something else.
I feel as if as in something possibly was missed.
Hmm.
Okay. And it was realized that it was missed, and they had to hurry up and go back in. And they said that they're making models and they're doing this and they're doing that. I'm sure
Hmm.
that they probably are.
Well,
I
yeah.
just I just feel like there was more to it than that, in my opinion.
Oh, there is. There is absolutely more to it, and they're not letting us know. And the question is like, what do they know now? What did they find in that case, and why the FBI? Because honestly, when thinking back, I don't think it was initially the FBI that did the work. It was, ISP, somebody local, right? So
Mm-hmm.
this time, you're just thinking about that it is the FBI doing it. Why is my question.
That's a great point. Does it have anything to do with this IgG thing?
I think it has to do with either they found something else or there's something going on locally that we're not privy to, where the two agencies,
Uh huh.
are, there's like sort of a disconnect and they're just covering their bases.
Very possible. It's very
And
possible.
yeah,
Uh,
that's what I'm thinking. But yeah, I would like to know if somebody can dig that up. Haven't had time to do that myself, but I would like to know if that was the FBI who did it initially, and if not, then we know something's up.
right. And see, here's my question with this. I just had the comment thrown up there. From
Hmm.
what I understood, way back when Anne took on this case, did they or did they not do the 3D models of the interior of the home at that point?
Yes, they did. Everybody did. Like everybody, meaning they even, made a note about it that they did do a 3D
That's what
model
I
of the
thought.
house.
And the prosecution was involved in that as well. So it was both
Correct.
sides. So
Correct.
why did they have to go back and do that?
Because it wasn't the FBI.
Okay. See? Okay.
That's what my thinking is. This is like something to do with the disconnect between FBI and local law enforcement, right?
Yeah.
So if we're looking at it like they messed up, let's say local law enforcement messed up, so
Right.
they're gonna go in and save face now, and
That's kind of what yeah, I can agree with you because I've said for a long time, you guys,
mhm,
mistakes were made that should have been made. We all know
mhm,
that, and mistakes happen. It is a big case. I get it, so on and so forth. Just say that. Just say we made some mistakes. We got to go in. We got to fix this
mhm,
because the FBI went in now, not Moscow, not Idaho State Police, not Latah County. The FBI is the one inside doing this stuff now.
mhm.
They unboarded the whole house. We watched what they were doing. They were climbing in and out of windows. They were doing this. They were doing that. From what we could see, that's what we saw from it. But I agree. I think there were probably some mistakes made, and they had to go in and they had to redo some things, check some things, maybe gather something new. And she's right though. I'm curious to know, did they come out with something come out of that house with something more than what we know about?
Well,
Obviously. Go ahead.
obviously they couldn't have because there is nothing left of what was there. So it's not like the only thing that they can do as far as that goes, they can't come out with new evidence because it's been altered, right?
Right.
So they
Yes.
took out walls, they took out this and that, so it doesn't even look or have the same aesthetic as it used to when it
Right.
happened. So
Right.
they did in effect you can think of it this way: they tampered with the evidence, because I
Basically.
wonder if they did it before it was released as a crime scene. Because if you remember, they took out shit stuff from that house before they released it as a crime scene. And
Right.
is that not tampering with evidence?
Yeah, yeah, that's in a sense what that's called. That's what that means.
Hmm. Hmm.
Just this past weekend, I think it was, Draw was asking when they went in. It was this past weekend, wasn't it?
It was during the week, Tuesday, Wednesdays when they
Tuesday,
went in.
Wednesday. Sorry,
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah,
I thought
yeah,
it was a little bit before that, but yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, Draw. It was this past Tuesday, Wednesday that they went back in. They
Mhm.
unboarded the whole house, and there's video of them here. I'll show you. For those of you that didn't see this, hold on a minute. 1 second, guys. All right. Thank you for joining me, Golf Inspector. I
Yeah,
appreciate it
it's a
very
nice
much.
Saturday thing to do.
Absolutely.
Thanks for doing this.
Oh, no worries. No
I,
worries.
I mean, I like to talk IgG, but I don't know much about it, to be honest with you, and I don't know the difference. So it's hard to talk about stuff that you're not that into.
Sure, absolutely. I understand. It's just from when I gathered from it, and I'll talk about it here in a little bit in a minute and explain
Mm.
something. But it's very strange uh, the way it's gone down.
Mhm.
All right, let's see here.
Well, all of it is going back to the IgG. What bothers me is just one thing, and that
Mm-hmm.
is that the judge does not seem to think that it had as much of a relevance in the arrest warrant,
Mm-hmm.
which is not right. I mean, you just
I
have to
mean,
read the arrest warrant to see that it is very relevant,
very, very much so. Yes,
and
very,
it
very much
plays
so.
a very like a big role in why they have who they have.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't
See,
know. I don't.
somebody sent me a message, and let me think. With it Wednesday, I think it was. I got it. It was an email, and they said it was just an email. And said, "Diego, do you think that the FBI caught on to something, or like fell into something and realized something's not right with this, and now they're doing their own thing?" And I said,
Mhm.
"Very possible. It's very possible.
Absolutely,
The
absolutely.
FBI is the FBI for a reason, folks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're there for a reason." And if they weren't as heavily involved in this as we may have thought they were in the beginning, and then other things started popping up all over the place, then well, absolutely, why wouldn't they go back and say, well, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute, hold on, what's this all about? And so here we are,
Hmm.
okay, as we see right here. Um, Let me know if you guys can hear this. Okay,
FBI, frankly, was created for is to give that level of expertise that local
this
law
is
enforcement.
this is them going back. Draw for anybody that didn't catch or see this.
just doesn't have or access to.
Nearly 1 year after the quadruple homicide that shocked the nation, FBI agents are headed back to the scene of the crime in the University of Idaho murders.
They're going to take one last crack at this, so to speak, and they're going to be able to argue that this was a fresh look, that they didn't do anything. They're not retesting the same stuff. This is new stuff that they're testing.
It's a case Law and Crime Network has.
Now, what are they testing?
Mhm.
That's interesting to me.
Mm-hmm.
New stuff that they're testing. Really?
Well, yeah, and what to what degree? Like, as I say, if everything more than likely is gone out of the house, then what is that? What are they doing there?
What could possibly be new that's
Mhm.
there that they're testing?
Exactly.
That's a good assumption, possibly, Wisdom, that maybe the Department of Justice got involved and said, hey, the FBI, you guys need to go take a look at this and see what the hell is going on, or that. We don't know. You know what I mean?
I don't know how that works, to be honest. I mean, if you look at the Gilgo Beach case, they wouldn't allow the FBI in there. So I don't
Right.
know if that's how things work, that, somebody says you need to go have a look at it, or they just invited themselves, or how, I don't know. Because I always question the involvement of the FBI to begin with
Yeah.
in this whole scenario, because they were very adamant about saying, no, no, this is our case, the local police. So that the FBI is doing it now is what I'm like, okay, does it have to do with the IGG? I don't know. I don't
Well,
think so, but they must be covering something up for
well,
themselves.
for them to say they're testing new stuff, not old stuff, um, that piques my curiosity to a very high realm. Okay.
Hmm.
Uh, very much so. Jeff says, I just read that they're going to do physical model of the house as well from the 3D stuff they've recently gathered. Now, here's the thing. Like Golf Inspector said a few minutes back, that house is empty. There's nothing in that house that was in there the night that this went on. So if they're going to do a 3D model based on that night for the jury, I guess, how, if that's what they're doing in there, what were they, how did they put that together?
Hmm.
Okay, because nothing in there, like you said, the house is completely different now. They've pulled floor panels and wall panels,
Hmm.
and they've done this and they've done that. Everything, all the furniture's not in there. Anything that could have been involved in that situation that night, it's all gone.
And it's not just furniture and walls, it's everything that you have in your room. It's every piece of
Right, everything.
clothing. It's all evidence, and
That,
that's the
yes.
problem. Is they went in and they tampered with it in early stages and called it, like, we're going to give it back to the family, just like they did with the house.
Hmm.
It was very premature to go in and do something like that. So, other places, they actually, the school shootings in Texas, they left that school as
Hmm.
it was. They didn't touch it until after trial, and that's what should have happened here.
That's exactly what should have happened here. They
So
should have
I
boarded.
question tampering with evidence, and why that happened. I do.
Well, what they should have done, they should have, exactly. You're right. Until the the time came for the trial
Hmm.
or a preliminary hearing, maybe if they needed for that, they should have boarded and locked that house up just as it sat. Of course, minus the victims, unfortunately,
Hmm.
um, and just left everything as it was, not touched a damn thing, locked it down, and left it the way it was. I
Hmm.
totally agree with you, but they didn't. They completely remodeled the inside of that house. Basically, they
Hmm.
took everything out. They gave things back to people. They pulled floorboards and wall boards. Like I said, I'm sure that there's other things that have been taken too.
Hmm.
That makes no sense because it's not the same crime scene then.
It's not. And the fact that makes this all very hard to chew as well is that they go out and then they tell people, like the public, we're doing it, because of there is toxic things in the wall and asbestos and this and that. And then
Right.
these people that are, like Jules pointed out,
Yep.
rightfully so, they're
Yep.
just like going in and out with their own little clothes on. And don't tell me there's toxicity in there, because they wouldn't have, risked their own lives because of it. So it's like one thing on top of another, like these little small lies that they're telling the people, the public, and thinking that, people they just get away with it. And it's hard to chew and swallow at the same time on these things, I have to say. when they do that. It's like, what are you hiding? What are you
Right.
hiding?
Right. And if you look, here we are, folks. They're unboarding the house. They're uncovering windows. They're taking everything off. Do you see how these guys are dressed when they go in, when they're going in? Thank you very much. Where'd that go? Very much for that draw. Do you see the, if you look, well, I'm trying to find the pictures to show you guys exactly the video. I might have to cut to a different one to show you, but they showed them. These guys aren't wearing tie-back suits. They're not wearing masks. They're not wearing anything other than what you see this guy right here in t-shirts and jeans and coats and a baseball cap. If that house was full of toxic chemicals and or anything like that, don't you think that they'd be protecting themselves?
Mhm. Absolutely. They
Joel
would have
Foreman,
wore protective gear, absolutely. And there's
100%.
some better, yeah, there's some really good ones of, those guys climbing in and out the windows of the house. So, you know that they've been inside. It's not
Yeah,
like a lie or anything. So
yes.
it's
That's what I was.
absolutely outrageous. Like, why are you telling us these stupid, silly lies instead of like, okay, listen, sorry, we messed up. We need to go back in, and yeah, or why tell us that we're doing it because of this reason and that reason? It doesn't look good for the
And it
university.
makes and it makes you think, like, if they can't just come forthright with it and say this is what the deal
Mhm.
is, this is why we're doing this, this is why it's a year later almost, and this is just now happening.
Yeah.
That's why everybody goes and says, what's really going on? Is that true? Do I believe that? That's why we've all had the issues that we've had with everything.
Hmm.
Okay, I mean, it just doesn't. I guess this video doesn't have what I was looking for in it, but it's just,
It's a pile up of
it
poop.
is. It is. It really
Pile
is.
up of poop that doesn't make any sense to anybody, except a few content creators who seems to find solace in these things and just like, okay, just eat it up, and I don't get it. I don't know how you cannot be like, hold up, something is not right here.
Mm-hmm.
uh, you know to me,
I do agree. It's a big pile of shit because just as much as just about everything else has been.
and
Okay.
it doesn't not just not make sense. It's asinine.
Absolutely.
At this point, it's really asinine. So I don't know how people can go along with it. That's all.
I definitely agree in that sense.
Mhm.
Here, let me play this real quick, see if this will show it to you guys.
22 King Road have remained closed for months now, its windows covered in plywood after 4 students living in the Moscow, Idaho home were stabbed to death there almost 1 year ago. But this week, FBI agents are once again entering the home to get more information as the prosecution prepares for suspect Brian Kohberger's long-awaited trial. The University of Idaho says investigators asked to gather documentation in the home that will help them construct visual and audio exhibits and a physical model of the home.
One of the reasons I think that they're trying to do this is so that they can perfectly depict to the jurors where each piece of evidence was and why the placement of that evidence would be considered important.
Police say they recovered a knife sheath in the bed in which Kaylee Gonzalez and Madison Mogan were found dead on the 3rd floor of the home. Prosecutors allege that Kohberger's DNA proved to be a statistical match to DNA taken from the knife sheath. Xana Kernodle and Ethan Chapin's bodies were found in a room on the 2nd floor of the home. One of the 2 surviving roommates was in her own bedroom on the 2nd floor around the time of the murders, when she told police she saw a man in black clothes and a mask walk past her. She says she stood in shock as the man walked toward the sliding glass door leading out of the house before locking herself in her bedroom. The victims' families fought to keep the house standing until the trial is over. In a statement Tuesday, the family of Kaylee Gonzalez and the father of Xana Kernodle said they were grateful the university paused its plans to demolish it.
It's a huge piece of evidence. It's actually the largest piece of evidence in the trial.
The former FBI agent we spoke to reminded us that while it may seem odd to go back into the house after so many months, any DNA evidence collected happened a long time ago, and that's already been provided to both sides in this case. As for when this trial will actually get started, that's still an open question. Guys?
It's been almost a year now. Miguel, thank you.
Hey.
And there's that. Okay, they're still not showing the right stuff that I'm trying to find here, but it explains it to an extent. Okay,
Yeah.
but that's what they're telling us. And again, I'm not saying they're lying. Okay, but this is coming from mainstream media. They knew that they were going to be seen over there, so they had to explain it. Okay, they couldn't just go there and leave it be, because they knew where people were going to be like, "What the hell's going on?"
Mhm.
Okay, so 1 second here.
Sure, but I can't agree with that statement that that lady said, that they do it because they are going in to grab the evidence. But when the evidence is no longer there, it's mute, totally mute point. That
Right.
should have been done when it was still there. Then I
That.
would say, okay, I don't question that. But
Oh, that makes
now,
sense. Yeah, that
now,
makes pure sense. It
yeah,
really does.
yeah.
And when I saw this, and I like I said, guys, you see people going in and out of the windows upstairs on the roof, um, taking what is going on? Oh, derp, that's my fault. Taking the boards off, climbing in and out of the windows, like they're testing something in and out of the windows. Um, you just have to go, what the hell's going on?
Mhm.
Okay. Brian Etten was there. I know that News Nation is News Nation, guys, but I've never really had a lot of problems with Brian Etten. I thought he's been pretty open with most people. News Nation, I'm not a huge fan of, but I do care. I like him. So he did a bit of a report throughout on this stuff while this was going, talked about this and so on and so forth. It's still is a very strange thing. Okay, I'm not trying to go conspiracy with this. I'm just saying,
Mhm.
a year later, and now we're doing this.
Yeah, and what was your first thought when you heard the news that the FBI was back? I was like, is this real or is somebody joking, right?
Same thing. I didn't believe it at first either. I had to go like, there it was, bing,
Yeah,
bang, boom, just
yeah.
like I said.
And I bet you that's how Brian Ensign felt it as well. And yeah, I
Oh
have
yeah.
tremendous respect for him for what he's done and all that. The only thing I didn't like what he did was when he called out every YouTuber
Mhm.
for misinformation. I did not appreciate that.
Yeah, he
Um,
did do that.
yeah,
But I mean,
but yeah,
they,
he was just as confused as the rest of us. Let me tell you,
yeah.
because it made no sense to anybody why they would go in now after, oh no, we released the house. It can be tore down and do whatever you want with it, basically.
What if they would have tore this house down like they were supposed to, guys? When they were supposed to initially, they were going to tear this house down way back in August. Remember
Mhm.
that?
Yeah.
And again, thinking about this, I thought about this the other day. The trial was supposed to happen on October 2nd. That was the initial date for this, okay?
Hmm.
Last month. The
Correct.
house was to be torn down initially back in August sometime, or maybe before, but I think that was around then. So the house would have been gone. We'd have been in the midst of the trial at this point. They wouldn't have had whatever information they had to go get. How does that happen? How is that a fair trial for this guy?
Well,
Um,
the grand jury is not a fair thing, if you ask me, to begin with, because a grand jury indictment, gives the prosecution the upper hand.
well,
So
of
just
course, they didn't give him the preliminary hearing he deserved.
exactly. So if you think about the justice system, there is no justice doing preliminary hearing is justice. But you take that away from someone, then by a grand jury indictment, which is just a one-sided indictment. So, just thinking on that level, it makes me kind of angry, to be honest with you, when
Yeah.
we're talking about justice, right? But
Yes.
that's neither here nor there. But yeah, this here, what they just did is like, number one, you have the university owning. I cannot swallow that. They own the crime scene.
Hmm.
They own it. Like, they can
Because,
do whatever they want with it, which is so wrong.
and that has always been a problem for me as well, because there's no trial. The trial's not over. Nothing has happened. If the trial had come and gone, whoever Brian was found guilty, or whoever was found, whatever happened with the trial, it's said, done, and over with, and then they transferred ownership of the house to the university. Then they could do whatever they want with it, and there should be no quarrels with that.
Yeah.
But That's not what happened, you guys. That
No,
is
and,
not
and
what
what they
happened.
did to the families in that process, they sent them a letter saying, well, tough shit, we're going to do what we want anyway. We don't care what you guys think. And
Basically, and the families have all stressed that they
yeah,
believe that the house should be standing, that
yeah.
the house is a very important part of this trial.
And the response was like,
They
yeah,
disregarded that. They don't care.
exactly. And
They don't
so
care.
this is a financial, anything else than a financial decision is just outright wrong.
I
And
agree.
so I think, this just looked really bad on their end. In my opinion, it looks really bad on
I I
University of Idaho.
I agree with you on that. I really do.
Yeah.
And it again, we could all stop thinking about this and stop thinking about that, not worry about this, that, and then something like this happens last week, and just like that,
Yeah.
takes you right back into that frame of mind because once again, one more thing, and
Shady
I
shit.
know it's not our
Shady shit.
business. Yes, it's not our business. I understand. We don't have the right to know these things. I understand that too, but they put it out there for us to see it. They put it on mainstream media for us to
I
see
don't
it.
agree to that. I think this is an open court. It's paid by taxpayers, is it not?
Well,
We
let
all
me
pay
let
into
me
something.
rephrase
It's
it.
it's
I know what you're saying.
transparency. It needs to be
We
transparent.
we
So
have the right to see how our judicial system works, and
absolutely,
we have that right.
absolutely.
Don't get me wrong when I say this.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess my phrasing is not correct. It's not
No,
our
no, no. The
business.
gory details and all that is what you're talking about.
Yeah,
That,
it's
that
not
I
our
can
business
understand. Yeah.
part. But the way the judicial system, excuse me, the way the judicial system works,
Hmm.
and the process and stuff like that, that is absolutely the public's business, folks, and
Hmm.
they deserve to see how that happens, and that's what this is about.
Yeah.
And again, we're seeing what they want us to see, in my opinion. That's all I'm saying. We obviously couldn't get close enough as a people to see this, and you can't walk up and say, "Hey, what are you doing?" Well, we're doing this. They told us they're making these models. They're doing this. They're doing that. Okay, is that really all they're doing though? That's the thing. Nobody knows. Nobody
Hmm.
knows.
Yeah. It's all very shady, I have to say. Whatever it is, whatever the motivation, it doesn't matter at this point. Whatever, they might be doing what they're saying they're doing. I don't know.
Well,
I
at
don't
this
care.
point, yeah, and that's the problem though. Is
Mhm.
at this point in the investigation, if they are, even if they are doing the right thing now and what they're
Mhm.
supposed to be doing, half, three-quarters of the public are going to go, I don't know. I don't trust that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because of everything we've seen. That's what the problem has become.
exactly. It's
Um,
shady. It's all shady. But
Throw
it's
out.
because how it was handled. And
yeah,
so I'm thinking like maybe the FBI want to take this out of the hands of local law enforcement. Like, okay, you're going to drag us into the IgG material? Well, then we need control over the crime scene or whatever. I don't
very
know.
possible. Yeah, very, very possible.
Yeah. So that's all I wanted to talk about.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's a great point. Very good point. And I think it bothers a lot of people at this point.
Mhm.
Um, how are we supposed to take it? Are we supposed to just take what they're saying and say, okay, yes, sir, that's what you're saying, moving forward? I just can't do that. I have to look at things from all angles. I have to look at things from the backward side. You know what I mean? Just to make sure that what we're seeing is what we're seeing. That's all.
Yeah, and sometimes it is, and sometimes it's not. But
Yeah,
like you said, the way they dealt with this the whole time, unfortunately, makes everybody's ears perk up when something like this happens.
I can
Because,
agree.
yeah, so
I can definitely agree.
yeah.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, guys. I had this plan. I was going to show you this real quick for those that may not have seen this.
On the road, which is most of the time. We're always in rental cars all over the country.
I'm going to let
This
this
is
play
Lauren,
for
my
just a few
producer,
minutes, and then we'll
passenger
talk
seat.
about a couple
Hopefully
things
you
we
can
have
see
to
her.
say in here.
She it's all bundled up. We are Floridians, by the way, so we get really cold easily.
Hey,
But
David, good to
we're in
see you.
Idaho right now. Been spending a lot of time in Idaho, obviously covering the Brian Koberger case and all the recent developments. We're outside the house right now where the murders happened. We're going to be doing a live shot for Ashley Banfield's show soon. It's been active the last couple of days. The FBI has been back out at the house, which I'll get to in a second. I kind of want to go in chronological order and explain to you some of the biggest developments of the last 2 weeks or so with the case. We've been in Idaho a couple of times because there's been several hearings. The first big development is there was this ongoing fight to throw out the grand jury indictment. The defense wanted the grand jury indictment thrown out. Basically, a grand jury is a group of citizens, jurors, they get called in like jurors for trial. They review evidence and then decide whether to indict someone. So that's what happened in Idaho. Members of the community were called in. They were part of this grand jury. They reviewed the evidence presented by the prosecution and indicted Brian Koberger for the murders. The defense wanted that indictment thrown out. The grand jury is a secret process, so their exact reasoning of why they wanted it thrown out, we never really found out, because a lot of those hearings were done behind closed doors because it's a secret process. But we knew some of the reasons, the vague reasons. They felt that there could be bias among the grand jurors. Evidence was presented that should not have been presented. Also, that the grand jurors were given the wrong instructions by the prosecution. So there was a secret hearing about that because of the gag order, because the grand jury process is secret. So we had to wait outside. Then there was a public hearing where they argued a little more. Prosecution went back and forth. And the judge ultimately decided that they were not going to that he was not going to throw out the grand jury indictment. He said he didn't feel like that was something he could do, that it was a creative legal argument, ultimately is what he said, but that they needed to take it up with the Idaho Supreme Court. Didn't really come as a surprise. I didn't expect him to throw it out. Most of the legal scholars and professors who I'd interviewed, who had read over the argument, from what we could see, didn't expect it. But it was still it'd have been, if he had thrown it out, wouldn't have thrown out the charges completely against Brian Koberger. It would have just set the process back quite a bit. They would have had to have a preliminary hearing, and it would have sort of just delayed things more. So that's not happening. What was interesting, though, is that same hearing about the grand jury, the judge said that he had decided that he was going to allow cameras to stay in the courtroom. You remember there's been this debate ongoing. The defense, Brian Koberger's lawyers, have wanted the cameras thrown out of the courtroom. They feel like they are unfair, that they've been zooming in on Koberger. And I really got the feeling that that was maybe going to happen. It didn't seem like the judge really liked the cameras. But anyway, at this other hearing on a different topic, the judge said, look, I've thought about it. The cameras are going to get to stay. I'm going to have more control over the cameras, but they will get to stay. In terms of him saying, I think more control. Is that the way he kind of, he's going to issue a written ruling about what all of that means. My gut says that when he says more control, it's no longer going to be like a media person running the camera. Maybe the court will have their own camera that's sort of at the back of the room that can't pan around. That's kind of just a more basic, almost like C-SPAN, like a wide angle with audio. And that maybe that's the way they'll go, which, I am fine with. I guess I'm biased in this department as a journalist. I'm all about transparency in courts, and I believe that the cameras should get to stay so the public knows what's going on. So I think that was a victory for transparency and for the public. So it was interesting that came out again in that hearing, though, just because we weren't expecting that at all. So those were two big things of the last couple of weeks that have happened in court. The other big development is what happened here at the house, which is the reason we're sitting outside the house right now. We raced back here to Idaho, got word that the FBI and Moscow police were coming back to the house to do more investigating, which kind of came as a shock because the prosecution has said over and over again that they were done with the house, that it was okay to tear the house down. We've been following this. I mean, there's been multiple times where they've told us that the house is going to be torn down. The University of Idaho owns the house now. The person who owned the house and was renting it to the victims gifted it to the University of Idaho. And it seemed like the University of Idaho really wanted to tear it down. I don't know if it was like an image thing. I mean, it's right by the campus. It's difficult for the students who live around here to have to look at it. They wanted to make it maybe into a park and a memorial. But that's something that really upset some of the victims' family members, specifically the Gonsalves family, because they said, how can you tear down the house before there is even a trial? What if there's additional evidence needed? What if the jury wants to go
Exactly.
take a tour and view the house, which
Exactly.
happens. That's happened before. That just happened in the Alec Murdoch case. Remember, they took the shuttles out to Moselle. So it angered the families that they were just trying to tear the house down right away. And it was very interesting when, after telling the families and telling everyone, we're done with the house, we're done with the house, we're done with the house, all of a sudden they weren't done with the house. It's kind of like an "I told you so" moment. Sorry, I'm just looking because there was someone parked behind me. It's like an "I told you so" moment, sort of, for the families, because basically what felt like kind of out of nowhere, FBI comes back to the house. They take all the boards off of the house, open it up again. You know, all the windows were boarded up, and they basically were doing this sort of 3D imaging of the entire house, something that they weren't able to do before. I want to read you the University of Idaho put out a statement, again, because they now own the house, about this whole development with the FBI showing up. It says, because the trial of Brian Koberger is delayed indefinitely, investigators and the prosecution recently asked University of Idaho for access to the King Road house where a quadruple homicide took place nearly a year ago. With the new extended timeline, the FBI is on scene today, Tuesday, October 31st and Wednesday, November 1st, to get documentation, to construct visual and audio exhibits, and a physical model of the home. So when they say with the new extended timeline, basically, you remember there was this trial date set for Brian Koberger in October. He waived his right to a speedy trial. Pretty much everyone expected that to happen. Like, every lawyer that I interviewed that has been studying the case said there was no way it was going to go to trial. And it didn't. He waived his right to a speedy trial. It's now delayed, like, for a long time. We don't have a date, but, you know, all indications are the trial's not happening for a very long time. Months, year, 2 years, we don't know. So when the university said with the new extended timeline, basically they're saying, because the trial didn't happen, the prosecution came back and said, oh, since we have time, let's do this different 3D imaging of the house. Again, the families are like, we told you so. Why would you tear the house down when there's possibly more things that you might need to do there? Which seems like that was the case, because it's been very active out here the last couple of days. Basically, they came out, took all the boards off the house again, opened it up. Team of FBI agents. They had all these specialized cameras all around the house, on the roof. They went on the roads around the house. They went in all the rooms inside the house, it looked like. They had a drone up over the house. It took 2 days. I mean, this wasn't a quick, simple process. They came back out here for 2 days. So I think the families are feeling like, wow, like, thank goodness we trusted our gut, really fought this hard, them tearing the house down, because look, they needed to come back out here, and maybe they'll need it again. In the university statement, it says, upon completion, the house will be resecured, which we saw happen. They put the boards back up again. While the university still intends to demolish the home, it will not be done this semester. So they are saying they still intend to demolish the home, possibly even before the trial, in the official statement that they sent to us. The Gonzalez family says that they were told that the house will remain up until the end of a trial. So that's different than the official statement we got from the university, but perhaps the...
Now, see, that's the first time I've heard that now. Now they're saying that the house is going to stay up until after the trial.
Well, that's what they told the families, is what
Right.
he's saying. But
Now,
more importantly, though, did you hear what he said? That the FBI had to ask
the
the university for permission.
Yep. Which blows my mind, because in a criminal investigation, there should be no asking of anybody.
No,
Nobody.
no, it's absolutely insane.
That's crazy. That is absolutely
And
crazy.
they could have technically said no.
Right. And then what would have happened?
Mm-hmm.
And then they would have probably had, well, I'm sure that they could have pulled a warrant or something like that, which they probably had to have anyway, but that's just crazy.
Yeah. Like, that's what I'm saying, is they own that. They own it. I mean, it just blows my mind. This is America 2023, and yeah, it's mind-boggling to me, at least, these little details.
Carolyn said there's protocols, and she's right, there are, but still, you would think that, like, the university, that the FBI would, like, say, hey, listen, this investigation is still ongoing. There's no trial, this and that. We need to go do this, so on and so forth. End of story. But they had to actually literally ask, and I get what you're saying about protocols, Karen or Carolyn, but still, that's a little wild, you know?
Yeah. Of course, there's protocols. There's protocols for everything. We're looking at a trial protocol. That's
Right.
This is crazy, but yeah, this is just the fact that they had to. Is my point. Is
I agree.
doesn't make
Yeah,
any
definitely an interesting scenario. That's for
Yeah.
sure. Sorry guys to stop, but I wanted to clarify that was heard, and I'm glad I did because of what golf inspector said. That's a great point. Very good point.
Gonzalez family just has information that we don't have that they're getting behind the scenes. I had a chance to go out to the Gonzalez's house. They live about an hour and a half from Moscow, where we are. It's always emotional talking to them. I'd been to their house one time before. They're just such wonderful people, by the way, but obviously just going through hell. And to go to the house where Kaylee grew up, I mean, it's all it's very, very emotional. And I just, again, really, really feel for them. Sorry, so I'm make sure somebody doesn't want to park behind us. So anyway, we talked to them. One of the things that we talked to them about was the situation with the house, and really how relieved they are that it hasn't been torn down and that the police were able to come back out and do what they needed to do. Take a listen.
I knew in my heart what was best for those girls and Ethan. I knew what was best was to keep that around until they did more. And there'll be a point when I'll be like, you know what? Let it go. Let it go.
And our agenda of keeping it around isn't because, well, you know, oh, it's going to be so sad when it's torn down. I mean, that is going to be sad to me. And people think, how can that, like, tear it down? And it's just like, look, like, my daughter lived a happy life there. Yes, she was murdered there, ultimately murdered. But that was this much time, you know. We have pictures of them in the house. When that house goes, it's going to be hard. I don't want to go in it. I've never even been to the house. I've never drove by it. I don't want to. But it's still going to be, when they're like, that house is gone, it is going to be very emotional for me. But that wasn't why, the emotional side of things. It was strictly like, is this good for the prosecution? Is this good for the case?
If he pled guilty and said, I'll plead guilty in exchange for a life sentence, have you thought about that?
Yeah, I don't want that, because I do know, I studied the criminal system and the difference between life in prison. Even if it's 20, 30 years, he's 23 hours locked up. He doesn't get to do what is it, BTK
killer?
PTK.
Or whatever.
We've found out that he writes papers for other prisoners and gets treated really well because he's intelligent, and he's able to help other prisoners get preferential treatment through the legal system. We don't want that type of behavior to happen in our case, where he has influence outside of this event. So
that's been a hard one, though. I mean,
he could write a book, he can do things. Idaho doesn't have a law particular that protects against that.
The hard thing with that question, honestly, is that's where you forget, and I don't know how it's possible, but you forget that there's 3 other families involved here. We're not the only ones. You know, it's not just, I'm like, this is not a one
crime fits all.
This is
right.
This isn't just our daughter.
Right. Some might not want to go through the trial.
I know some of the other families definitely would be, yes, like, let's go. Where do I sign? And I understand that 100%. 100%. I understand that. But you know what? Ultimately, it's not our call. I mean, they might ask us our opinion like they did on the death penalty, and we'll give it. But just because, our opinion is yay or nay doesn't mean that, that's what we get.
So again, I really feel for the Gonzalez family, everything that they're going through. I feel for all the families. I mean, Ethan Chapin's mom, Stacy, we interviewed her last month. It's heartbreaking to talk to them. And, we all get so wrapped up in the case.
I agree with him on that part. It's hard to watch them do interviews because it really, like, I keep saying this and I've said this time and time again. I don't feel that they have had the opportunity to grieve the way that they should have been able to because of the involvement with this case. And there's so many things going on with it. They haven't been able to just let it happen and let it just grieve. You know what I mean?
Well,
It's
yeah,
it's very
absolutely.
sad.
There's a reason for that too, is because they feel and they know something ain't right, and
Oh yeah,
they
yeah,
have a hard time letting that go as well, and why
right,
they had to go through hoops and hire, private investigators and things
right.
like that, because they just don't trust what went down there. And so obviously that hurts, but it doesn't even help when they throw in a question like, so what if he would take he would take a deal for the death penalty? I mean,
Right.
that's a stupid question. I'm sorry.
You don't ask people
I,
like you don't ask these people that kind of a question. That's
I
just wrong.
mean, are we there yet? We don't even have a trial. I mean, uh,
Right.
there is nothing there that says that he would do something. It's a dumb question, if
It
you ask
is.
me.
It
But yeah,
doesn't go, and it's not. Again, you don't ask the families of the victims, especially the parents. Questions like that, guys. That's wrong to me. I'm sorry because that's kind of putting them on a spot to answer this on camera. Like, how do you expect them to answer?
yeah,
Honestly, what do you expect to get an answer out of that?
yeah.
I didn't like that question. I'm sure that Brian's questions that he has to ask are written out for him and so on and so forth. But still, come on. Let's be a little bit more respectful in that situation. For one, for two, like how could they answer that question? What would you expect them to say? That's ridiculous.
Exactly.
So that's definitely my opinion on that one for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
And I'm following every little court filing and every little development. And sometimes you lose sight of sort of the bigger picture here of what the families are going through, continue to go through. I mean, it's been about a year. November 13th will be the 1 year mark. I hate to use the word anniversary. It just sounds wrong. It sounds too positive, but the 1 year mark since the murders. And I know that that's a difficult time for the families. It's a difficult time for the community. I think there's frustration that the legal process is taking so long, but we will be here for the anniversary. I hate to say anniversary again, 1 year mark. They are going to have a candlelight vigil on campus, I confirmed, and just a time where my heart really goes out to the families. But obviously, we'll continue to talk to them, continue to cover the case, all the developments, and we'll keep you posted on what happens next.
All right. There is that. Again,
Hmm.
I mean, it's good coverage, but I don't like the way all of it was put together in that sense.
Yeah. I mean, he does a good job, I have to say, like he's
Right.
very like that, but that one question, leave that alone,
Oh,
It's one
absolutely.
question.
Absolutely. um,
And thank
yeah,
God they were there and they knew about that FBI was going to show up, because obviously, I think he mentioned there somewhere that the family reached out and said that the FBI was going to show up at the house. So
right, right.
that's good that they were there, and we actually caught those clips of because I think what they posted,
Hmm.
I don't know if I saw it on News Nation on their website, or what he posted on his Twitter, Enton, but that's where we saw those FBI agents, go in and out without protective gear.
Right. Yeah. I
Mhm.
mean, I was really blown away, but I wasn't thinking about it. When Jules threw that up again, guys,
Mhm.
she really put up a great video on this one. I was like, oh my God, that's amazing. Great catch.
Mhm.
Seriously, think
Oh
about
yeah.
it.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Absolutely.
after everything that's going on in that house, all the ridiculous amounts of chemicals they've stated they've used. There's lead, possibilities of lead poisoning in that house, the asbestos in that house, and
Mhm.
these people just go right back into that house like me and you would, t-shirts and jeans and a hoodie and a jacket and a baseball cap. That's what they're wearing.
Mhm.
Nothing of any form. We saw what they were dressed in after the unalivings happened. They had tieback suits on. They were protecting their bodies from this, that, and everything else. Why didn't they have them on this time?
Good question.
Makes no sense to me at all.
Especially after everything they said that what was wrong inside that house and why
Mhm.
it had to be tore down. I mean, that's the reason it was going to be tore down.
That's it right
One
there.
or one of the reasons it was going to get tore down.
That was one of the big reasons. You're
And
right.
because oh no, the jury can't walk through it because of all the toxic chemicals in there. Well, so what happened to that reason?
Right.
Where are
Yeah.
we on that? So yeah, no, I'm happy she did that video because obviously that needed to get highlighted, and she did an extremely good job of that to highlight that one point.
Right. Yes.
Needed to be thrown out there. And so, just the second point, going back to it, was it initially the FBI that went in there? I don't think so. To do this work, this combing through, canvassing.
I think it was Moscow PD. That's
That or ISP, the
Idaho State. Yes.
yeah,
yes.
yeah. Somebody did it, but it
A
wasn't the
combo. I
FBI.
think both of them.
And,
Right.
and so that begs the question, why? Why the FBI?
Why didn't they get this the first time?
Exactly.
Or who didn't get this the first time? Or was it something? If it's not something that was at that point in time important to get, why is it important to get it now?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? If that's how it went, if that's what it was.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, that's the takeaway from this the house situation, at
Right.
least for me.
I agree. Real quick, just to add to this, guys, since you did get to see an up-to-date interview with the Gonsalves family, we all saw the interview that Kara gave, or listened to the interview Kara gave. Most of us did, with Crime Sleuthing's channel. I do want to show you this. This is an up-to-date interview with the Chapin family, just to give you guys a little insight into how they're doing and what they're doing right now, almost a year after this scenario. So it kind of goes along with what we were talking about. And I just figured a lot of you guys may not have seen this, and I'd like to give you the option to see it. So, and then we'll jump back into what we're talking about.
Near campus, their families are finding ways to remember them. Ethan Chapin was one of those students, a triplet born and raised here in Skagit County. And this month, he would have turned 21. I sat down with his parents, Jim and Stacy, to talk about how their family is doing, what comes next, and Stacy Chapin's new book, The Boy Who Wore Blue.
On a beautiful star-filled October night, triplet children were born, and
Agreed.
oh, what a sight.
Agreed.
3 healthy babies, what could we say? Such a joyful, amazing, and momentous day. But there was something incredible about that boy who wore blue. His bubbly personality immediately shone through. I just needed people to have the true story of him. For people who know him, it's a little bit of a memoir. And I think for people who don't know him, it's literally the message how Ethan lived his life. Tell us about him.
Ethan, he was truly one of a kind.
He was an exceptional kid from the day he was born.
I mean, he just lived life to the fullest. He kept everybody in check.
And not just because he was 6'4".
No, not because he was 6'4". It's just that there was just a way about him, and he had a good message. You know, his message is just be yourself and have fun and do good for everybody.
You just miss him walking into a room and
Yeah.
giving you a hug and making some funny comment, and he was amazing.
Is there anything that you miss the most?
Hugging him. Oh, I'd give anything. And yeah, that's it. I'd give anything to hug that kid again. In his blue Patagonia, his puffy blue Patagonia coat. Right?
How are you after almost a year?
It's shocking it's been a year. We spent, I call it a period of time, there was about 5 months that I call it the depths of hell. I mean, we went there, we've been there. I think you have to go there in order to start the journey out that is the process of healing and figuring out how you live your life without this person that's been in it forever. I have a place kind of where Ethan lives in there, and it's a safe spot. For me, but I think overall, under all of these circumstances, I think we're doing well. This thing took one of our kids, but it can't take the rest of us.
I think about Maisie and Hunter a lot because I'm a multiple. And there's a unique, special connection that multiples have that other siblings do not have.
Yeah.
I know that. And so I've thought about them often, having lost a piece of themselves in losing their brother.
Jim and I can sit here and tell you what it feels like to lose a child. I honestly cannot tell you what it must feel like for Maisie and Hunter to lose literally a piece of them. It's profoundly different for them than it is for us.
They came home mid-May after school was out, and they spent all summer at our Idaho home, and both worked. And it seems like they healed a lot during that period of time. It's just going to take time for us all.
When we send our kids off to school, to college, we think it's one of the safest places they could be.
Yes.
I mean, Moscow, Idaho?
Not in your wildest imagination or nightmares even. Could you imagine something like this?
We were at Parents' Weekend the week before. I mean, literally the week before, and just had the best time with the kids. And you would never think that something like this could ever happen.
It was the best
there.
weekend. And we were in the King Street house that weekend. I mean,
We were.
we were like, these kids are living their best life.
You put a post on social, you sent it to me, that you spend no time being angry. That would not be energy well spent.
We don't use that word anger.
We can't bring Ethan back. I mean, let's all be honest. Nothing we can do can bring him back. And when you start to feel angry, it literally can take you down a rabbit hole that just isn't a healthy place to be.
So what does justice look like for you in this?
Oh, I have not been asked that question.
The person who is in jail right now, that it's gonna take care of itself. You know, nothing we can do or say or anything is gonna change what's gonna happen to that individual.
You have no plans to even go to the trial, to even be in the courtroom from start to finish?
No, there is no closure. The only closure I have is knowing that my family is good and healthy, and we move on with our lives and do what we were doing prior to this terrible thing that's happened to our family.
It's a choice. You know, you just have to tuck that kid somewhere in there. And I'm thankful for the 20 years we had with him.
Totally.
100%.
So you have a tattoo
I do.
on your arm.
So it's from a note that Ethan wrote me probably the 4th grade. And, you know, he just signed it. I love you, Mom.
We are coming back up onto Parents' Weekend and a big birthday for your kids, 21.
21 was something that we talked about forever. Having these triplets turn 21 was going to be the greatest, the greatest night ever. That night cannot take away from Maisie and Hunter. So, Parents' Weekend, it'll be a little bit camouflaged in Parents' Weekend, and then we'll go out and we're going to celebrate Maisie and Hunter. We cannot forget that that's the priority.
Is there anything that you would want to share with parents who've suffered just a horrific loss?
Find something positive in every day. Find something that you feel like brings you joy in a day. There is always something there, no matter how dark the day feels. We found it every single day. He was selfless, caring, generous, and warm. And wherever he went, the friends would all swarm.
We want to pass on his positive energy.
This tale, the story of the boy who wore blue, is a message for everyone, including you.
That's his legacy for
That
you.
is.
Yeah, it is. Life is short, so give it your best. Be happy, smile, and encourage the rest.
My sincere gratitude for Stacy and for Jim for sharing their story. This sweet book, The Boy Who Wore Blue, it is on sale right now. A portion of the proceeds from each book will go to Ethan's Smile Foundation. The foundation honors his love of life and people and adventure, and will provide post-high school scholarships for students from the town of Conway, where he grew up, and students at the University of Idaho. And finally, we want to wish Ethan's siblings, Maisie and Hunter, a happy 21st birthday, which they will celebrate this weekend.
Oh.
love those people. I really
All the
do.
state.
That
Yeah.
family is so beautiful.
Yeah.
The way that they're handling this, the way that they respond to this, it's just amazing, you know.
Mhm.
And I've known for a long time, um, almost God, 9 months ago, that they weren't going to their trial. They stated it then. They just want to move on, and I get that because, like they said, you know, there's nothing they can do to bring him back. He you know, and it just I think that just tells me that to them going and sitting and going through all of that again, it just relives all that in their minds again as they're healing. And that makes perfect sense to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That
And
is that.
they have three other children, or two. Sorry, they have two children
Yeah.
to focus on that needs,
Right.
you know, and they're just trying to look at it as
Right.
positively as they can, and
His
that's what they're talking about is the positive in all this, and
absolutely, and it's
how he
absolutely
wanted his legacy, and I think I think that's wonderful too.
it is, and
Absolutely.
it explains why Ethan was the person he was because
Mhm.
look at them, look at who raised him,
Mhm.
look at his, you know, just a beautiful family, and it, like I said, his siblings went back to that school, folks. That's where they're going to school at. They're back and doing the thing again, and you know, his birthday just passed. I had put up something for that, and it was their birthday as well without him for the first time. You know, very very rough. I imagine, and they just push through this like, you know, like they're supposed to. It's an amazing, amazing family. I absolutely adore them. And God bless them. You know, God bless them, all of the families, just all of them, all of you guys that are dealing with this. It's amazing to me, really, really amazing. And that's what I'm thinking, Jamie Rosberg, that it would be a trigger and it would just bring the trauma right back to the beginning again. In my opinion, why do that to yourself? Like she said, if there's nothing they can do to bring him back, what's the point?
Yeah, and I think they also realize there is nothing they can do to influence any outcome of what happens in a
Yeah,
trial, and so that's why they're not going to focus on that at all. They're just
right.
going to let happen what happens,
That's
and
exactly it.
it will
Matter.
take care of itself, is what he says,
Yeah,
and I believe
I do
that's a
too.
good thing. Yeah,
Absolutely amazing, though. I loved it, and
yeah.
I was a little bit heart pulls on the heartstrings, guys. But I figured, you know, if you haven't seen that, it would be good to see that. It really does make sense to me. It does.
But that's why you're doing what you're doing, Diego, and showing this is important because this is the part. This is
Mhm.
why, right?
Yes,
This is
yes,
why you're doing what you're
absolutely,
doing for that,
absolutely.
for them.
That's
So,
right. That's exactly how I felt about this from the beginning, regardless of what has been stated, mentioned, talked about, whatever. It's always been that for me, folks. Always.
mhm.
Um, from the beginning, I have 7 children, you guys. For those of you that don't know, I have 7 children. All but one of them are grown adults. They range in age from 30, 29, 28. I'm sorry, 30, 29, 29. Um, 3 27-year-olds and a 17-year-old. Um, seeing with this when it happened, it took me through trying to think of the right way to say this, like a blurry of like, oh my God, what if? Okay.
Mhm.
It's horrifying. It is absolutely horrifying. And again, it's always been true justice and being a voice for the voiceless in some senses to be able to ensure whether it was or it wasn't that it never did become a cold case. Okay. There has to be some justice so that there can be some possible closure. There's never going to be full closure for these families. You can't not, it can't happen. Okay. It can't happen. But there could be, you can move forward and you can try to learn how to live life again in some sort of fashion if there is justice that comes from this. Okay, that's the way I see this, guys. That's how I feel about this. It just horrified me. It still does. I don't care what anybody else says, guys. You know that. I don't care. I know how I feel, and I projected it out to you guys the way I feel, and it's all true fact, folks. Nothing but, and that's exactly what this is about for me. It's what this has always been about for me, regardless of any other bullshit that's been spewed. It's always about that, and always will be. period.
Well,
So
you wouldn't be able to put yourself into this hard if it wasn't, Dago, unfortunately. I mean, if it wasn't real, what you just said, because everybody spent a lot of time and energy, and we sunk ourselves into this case on such a deep level that this commitment is not a commitment of anything like financial gain or anything. This is like
God,
it
no.
pulled in our hearts. This comes from all our hearts.
You can't
This-
pretend. Nobody,
Not this
nobody.
one. Not this
Right.
one.
That's right. You're absolutely right, Golf. Nobody. I don't care if you're a Hollywood actor, actress, whatever it is. Nobody can pretend to care and
Not
to
yeah.
pretend to feel this way for this long, this deeply,
Mhm.
and in this amount. I mean, we've spent, guys, in a week or so, it's going to be a year, a full year that we've been talking about this, looking
Mhm.
at this, researching this. Okay, there's been some things that have come out about this that probably shouldn't that have been a stretch of the imagination. It happens, guys. There's so many people invested in this that have invested hours upon hours upon hours, days and months of their time and their life into this, wanting the same end goal that I think most creators out here want. Even the creators, in my opinion, that don't seem to be in the same boat that we are, they still, at the end, I think, want the same goal. And that is true justice for these kids, their families, and anybody else that was involved in this that is a victim, folks.
Yeah.
That's exactly how I feel.
No, this case is special to us, and I think that's what brought us all where we're at today.
Agreed. Yes.
Eh,
Very bittersweet.
I
Very
have to say, yeah, because I've never I can tell you personally, I'm not into true crime. Never was in my life. I
Right.
don't even watch, like true crime shows or anything. But when this happened, it was just something about it that's so you can't there was something so deep. I can't even explain it. It's weird.
It
I
is.
never thought I would be here and do this but I sunk like myself into it and like it touched me. It really, really did touch
I
me.
think that, yes, and I think it did it for all of us. A lot of us have taken this personally.
Mhm.
Um, Even people that don't have children, people that have no interest, like you said, in true crime at all.
Mhm.
It has been something that has pulled on everyone's heartstrings. There was something different about this, something, the personal aspect of this.
Mhm.
It really affected us all in a very deep way, guys.
Mhm.
Listen, I've, for those of you that have been here for a long time, I've covered multiple cases. This one, Kylie Rodney, that was another one that was kind of close to the heart. Summer Wells, still close to my heart. Okay. The Deborah Collier case, multiple other cases we've looked at. I've been passionate about all of them, but this one alone, like she said, it's weird. There's no way to explain the feeling that overwhelms you with this. I've
Mhm.
literally lost sleep about this. Thinking about this. My wife, like I said, I've sat down and had conversations with her. She has 2 college degrees in psychology. Why? Asking her, why do you think? What motive could be in somebody's mind to make them want to do something like this? What is this? We all have the same questions. We all want the same answers. And we've all questioned every bit of this case, wanting to get those right answers. Um, not because we don't want to trust what's being given to us, because in some senses we can't. Okay.
Mhm.
We very easily could. I'm sure, and I know there's people that do this, that read the PCA and said, okay, there it is,
Mhm.
wrap it up and put a bow on it, put him in jail, let's do the trial, we're done. I even tried to be that person until I read through the PCA, until I saw other information coming out about it, until I looked into myself personally and researched the things that happened. That is why I questioned things the way I did, not because I didn't want to believe what was given to us from law enforcement and from the state. It had nothing to do with not wanting to believe it, folks, or not wanting to take it for what it was. If you have an open mind, in my opinion, you have to question those things. Okay. And it's our justice system. It doesn't matter if it's Idaho, California, Ohio, Indiana, anywhere. It's the same justice system. Things are a little different here or there, but in a realm, it's the United States. It's where we're from. It's our place. It's our home. That's why we question it, because we should question that. We should see it for what it is. We should know what goes on and how it goes on, and it's our lives too. This affects everybody, folks, not just these people in this specific state. I will say I've never seen anything like this in that what has gone on in Idaho ever before this case. And in my opinion, this case bypasses it by far. But before this case, the largest, biggest, craziest, insanest case we ever saw was the O.J. Simpson thing. Okay, we all know that. Um, and then boom, here we go with this. And it's in the same realm, but it's so much more. It's so much worse. It's so much more in depth. Okay, now then we have Delphi. We have they're just these cases. In a way, it's a good thing, and in a way, it's a bad thing, because it's woken a lot of people up to look at it. Okay, and you know what? Let me hold on a minute, Jeff. That's a good point right there, and I want to address that real fast. An open mind combined with a strong distrust for law enforcement will give you some tainted results. You are absolutely right. That is a fact. Not everybody has a strong distrust for law enforcement, though. I fully support law enforcement and always have. I've always taught my children to respect law enforcement. I'm sure this is going to be played back against me, but I don't care. Again, family members. I've had law enforcement officials in my family for years. Friends that are law enforcement officials. I've always supported and respected the law enforcement that I've been raised around, been around, seen in my whole life, been all over the place. Always. Okay. That doesn't mean that every person involved in law enforcement is always right, that they can't make mistakes. So it's not that I have a strong distrust for them. It's that I've seen mistakes that need to be questioned. Okay. And if those questions can be answered, I'm good with that. It's when they're not answered and they're purposely hidden that I have a problem with that. It's when those mistakes are purposely covered up that I have issues with that. I'm not saying that it always happens in every situation, but it does happen. Just as it didn't even have to be law enforcement. It happens all over the world, everyday life. People make mistakes. They don't want people to see it. They cover it up. They try to fix that mistake before it's put out and in front of everybody. You know what I mean? It happens. It's part of what people do. So,
and it's also important to take into consideration that a man is about to lose his life over this, and
yes,
years down the line is maybe when they come up with like, oh, it wasn't him, it was somebody else. Like, so it's not a mistrust for the police that is there. Not from my end either. I've always trusted police. I have the utmost respect. I say give them all the money in the world because they deserve it, and so on and so on. But they're only human. They live within, they have confines. They have rules and regulations, and it's not like, they think maybe they can do what they want, but they can't technically, right? And they go by financial decisions. So it's not just that. There's a lot to take into consideration, in this whole scenario. And we know what we know about the area this happened in. There's a lot of financial decisions that were made that might have not been conducive to the investigation, right? So, and I'm not even blaming law enforcement here. I mean, they probably did the best they could under the circumstances, but they had no choice, is how I look at it. Like, and I know a lot of people disagree with me, but I really think that they did not have a choice in this. They just had to do what they were told because, it is a financial decision. So, and
there are people,
there's nothing to do with distrusting law enforcement. It's more the decision-making process. I can tell you who I distrust, and that's the university all day long.
Yes, a lot of people have the same exact feeling too.
But when it comes to law enforcement, no, I've always given them the benefit of the doubt. And I know people don't agree with me, but that's just my opinion,
Well, I even said in the beginning of this and in the middle somewhere, and just recently too, this is a quadruple homicide. Okay. That's a lot. So all the training in the world. Okay. Just like when I went through the fire academy and stuff like that, or the fire school, whatever you want to call it. They call it different things, but we train to put fires out in houses. That you go inside burning houses, you look at how it burns, you lay down on the floor and you stare at the fire. They tell you not to do that. That's why they show you that. They show you how to use a hose. They teach you all these things on how to put a fire out in a house, right? And I'll be honest with you, and I know this happens to more than most everybody. We practiced on all sorts of different old buildings, houses that we burnt down on purpose and then put them out, sheds, cars, tar trucks, all sorts of different training procedures we went through. The first time I ever walked into a burning house, I almost pissed my pants.
Yeah, it can't prepare you for the real thing,
You
obviously.
don't know, right? So the same thing goes with this type of thing. They could have been all the police training in the world
Mhm.
and disaster training. Even I went through that kind of stuff too. Until it really happens to you, you don't know how you're going to react. You don't know that you're going to do everything right to the T by the book until it happens. Mistakes can be made. Okay, mistakes definitely can be made, and that's why I've said for months that corruption, in a sense, does not always mean that you are hands-on involved in something. It could mean that you made a really big mistake and you're trying to fix it. It could mean all sorts of different things. That's not to state that to mean that corruption is exactly what it is, folks. Mistakes happen.
Yeah.
That's how I started off, Marietta. That's exactly how I started off as a volunteer firefighter. And then they put me
And
in
in this case, it looks like it happened, and I feel bad for those people because there's court coming up. There's going to be like a lot of questioning about the crime scene because obviously you can tell that those folks that you see are not experienced. You can
right.
tell, just the way they go in and out and how they handle every piece of evidence and all that. So it's like, that they're going to be pinned to the wall for that. And I feel bad for them. I really, really do, because they're
Absolutely.
genuinely trying to do a good job, but
That's right.
they're nervous. There's like reporters outside from all over the country. I mean, this is the first time this happened to that little place, right?
Mhm.
So it's a big deal. It's a much bigger deal than they thought. Maybe they took a little water over their heads, and maybe should have loosened up the reins. But again, they couldn't because that would not be allowed because of the university. So we're still stuck in that, like, you can't let it go
Right.
because the university can't let it go. You have to have that control.
I
So
agree.
so
And
Jeff,
like
no, this has nothing to do with mistrust of law enforcement.
I don't at all. I have no distrust for them. Some people may, and that's okay. I respect that, but I don't. I
Mhm.
just feel that there was unpreparedness. One, I feel that there was certain knowledge that wasn't there that should have been. I feel like things were not handled the way at all that they should have been. Let alone, the call for one. That had nothing to do with law enforcement, how that call went out. When law enforcement responded, that's where it starts. They
Mhm.
get there. They didn't handle the scene, in my opinion, in the right way. They did not follow protocol. They did not follow the SOP for that, which is the standard operating procedure. There's a lot of things that were not followed in hand. You just look it up. It tells you, it shows you what it is. And that's my opinion. That's where it started. That's where the problems started. In a scenario like that, in my opinion, I would imagine, and I've talked to friends that are law enforcement officers, just to reiterate, to make sure that what I'm thinking is true. You walk into a scene like that, you lock that entire scene down right now. There's no waiting around. There's no doing this or that or waiting for this person or that person. You shut it and lock it all down right now. And anybody there does not move. Each one of them people should be swabbed, as I've said this 1,000 times, and questioned immediately. And I don't believe that happened that way. I just don't. And I think that there were too many people that were let off too soon, let go. They moved on. People left for the holidays, for God's sakes, people, and left the area. God knows how that went down. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? We don't know. And I'm not stating when I say this, when I say we don't know, we really don't know. So I don't have an answer as to why. If, that happened with everybody, how many people left the area that shouldn't have, how many people weren't questioned that should have been questioned, because I know that there's people that could have been questioned, should have been questioned, that were not questioned.
Mhm.
Just things like that, guys, is what I'm saying. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, there were plenty of good suspects, let's say that, right? That you can look into that were really released early on. And yeah, question is, were they really investigated properly? And what about the other two unknown male DNA, or
Right.
three, because technically one was on a glove, right? But
Yeah.
so let's say two for fairness sake, because I'm not sure about the third one. But how about all that? Like, why? What happened to that? So there's plenty of things you could have looked into, but again, there is that control bit that would probably come into the, like, we need someone and we need someone's stat, and that's how this happened.
And then to mention, I don't know what you mean exactly, Bubbly. Welcome. It's good to have you here. Says about what about at 3 a.m. before the call at 12. I don't know what you mean. Like, if you want to be a little more detailed, I'll absolutely respond to that. Sorry, absolutely will respond to that. The thing is, what the hell was I going to say? The families have even stated there were people that were okayed and let to be, that were let go too soon, too early. They were cleared too early. Nobody should have been cleared. Nobody. Anybody that was anywhere near that scene, in my opinion, and I'm nobody. I'm no law enforcement official. I'm not an attorney. I'm not a judge. Any of that. I know that. Okay, but in my opinion, as a person, nobody should have been cleared. Period. Until a full investigation was done about everything.
Mhm.
That's just my opinion. Okay, and everyone. Like I said, every single person that had feet on that property that was still there when law enforcement arrived should have been swabbed for DNA, should have been questioned in depth. Okay, they should have brought in um, the they should have brought in more law enforcement if they didn't have enough people. Then on top of that, we waited for how many hours for the coroner to get there? How many hours for the lead investigator on this to get there?
Those are the details I think are more, because we don't know if that was done or not with the DNA of those people that were there on
Right,
site. And we,
right.
we really don't know. We're just like listening to what the parents say. So
Yeah,
those are sort of like loose facts that we're delving into. But like, what really matters is, why did people show up so late? Why did the coroner show up at, like you said,
those are
5
the big
o'clock or
questions. Yeah,
whatever? Yeah, those
They-
that's where we're getting into, like, those details that gonna matter, I think,
I
a
agree.
lot.
We waited till 5:30 that day
Mhm.
for Mabbott to show up. I understand. I've been on scenes where we waited for a coroner. It has taken an hour, maybe two, whatever. And if we couldn't find a coroner, we looked for the deputy coroner, or we would pull from another county or something like that. We've done that
Mhm.
before to deal with that scene before it gets too old. Okay, they didn't do anything like that. They didn't do anything like that.
Yeah, I
They,
mean, I don't know much about what they do, but isn't it important that they do what they do as soon as possible? Is that not
absolutely,
part of, like, a crime scene
absolutely.
investigation?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
So that's it, that they show up, and then knowing that that happened so many hours earlier
yeah,
too makes it
yeah.
even worse.
And
That
then she comes in. They called the TOD at 12 noon. That doesn't fit to me. That doesn't make sense to me. Then I don't know for a fact. We watched the interview with Mabbott. None of us, I don't think, were comfortable with how it went. They didn't mention or show anything about or talk about, and I don't know if they did do the liver temperature testing. That's what should have been done, but it was so long from the time that the time of death until she did what she was doing. It would be impossible for it to be accurate, in my opinion. It absolutely would be impossible for it to be accurate. I'm sorry. Therefore, I think that's a huge thing. A huge thing. You're not blocked, Tara. You're fine. Um, and that's a big detail, like you said, that's important.
Mhm.
The lead investigator didn't show up till what 3:34 o'clock in the afternoon because they're on a hunting trip. Then you put somebody else in charge of this.
Correct.
Where's the chief?
Mhm.
Bring him into this. That's
Mhm.
the way this should have went down, in my opinion. But they didn't do that.
And
Okay.
this is not a big place. This is not like, you live 3 hours outside of Chicago. Now, this is like, Moscow, Idaho. This is people live close by. And from what we know, or what I think we know, is that the police showed up like 2 minutes after the
Right.
911 call. So
Yes.
that tells you how close and intimate place that is. So why is everybody else showing up so late? I mean, this is serious. In my head,
Very
this is
serious.
serious. This is not like a little petty theft or anything like that.
Well, why
This is what
didn't they pull in people from WSU or something like that, or
Mhm.
Washington over that way? Because they've worked together. We know that already.
Mhm.
Okay. Why didn't they bring people from that area instead of waiting all these hours
Mhm.
and then doing this?
Yeah.
That's always been a problem for me. Like
And I'm
it's
sure that Anne is going to bring all these things up. But we're so focused on the delay on the 911 call, which is another problem. Obviously, that's
right.
going to prove to be an issue. But all these things that, like how everything was dealt with, as
Hmm.
far as what we know, these are facts. It's what we see happening and so on. So yeah, them letting go of people too soon. We're just like listening to what the family says, right? So we
Yeah.
don't know about that. We don't know what kind of investigations they really did. So yeah,
That is
I can't, we can't talk too much about that because that would
you're
be,
absolutely right.
yeah,
And because we don't know, guys, there's a lot that we don't know. There's
exactly.
a lot that we probably never will know. Okay, and we just have to accept that. That's just what it is. It's okay.
No, but just looking at the facts of what we do know is
Right.
what makes this even worse.
Yeah.
So, and that's enough for me, at least, to go like,
More than enough. Right.
exactly, exactly. So you don't even need those other details in there, like the maybes or the whatnots that are sort of speculation. You don't even need to throw that in there because there's enough bullshit to go around without it.
Right. Absolutely. Have a great night, Murky. Thank you for joining us tonight, and I appreciate you very much. Okay, I see Richard stating he'd like to put his 2 cents into.
Yeah,
Do you have any? Do
I'll
you have any
jump off.
problems?
I'll jump off. It's okay.
Well, no,
Uh,
you can still stay up there. I have enough room for you guys if you want to. That's up to you. But yeah, I just didn't know if you had any issues with him popping up here and saying
oh
anything.
no. The more the merrier is what I say.
Okay, come on
I
up,
love
Richard.
open panels. I love
Um,
open panels.
I will ask you, Richard, just to keep it clean. I don't want any kind of disrespect towards the victims, the families, anything like that. And that's pretty much it. That's all I'm saying. Um, come on up, sir. There's a link in the chat there. I am definitely, absolutely, Carolyn. It's hard to believe it's been a year already. It really is.
It's crazy.
It
It's crazy.
literally seems just like a few months.
Yeah, it does.
Definitely.
Who is this? Is it the Richard that's going to
Yeah,
jump on?
it's the
Okay.
rich.
Okay. No, I mean it's gone extremely fast if you think
Yes.
about it, and it's been like ongoing. So it's like it's just never ending. At least I don't, it's just never ending. Things come up
Right.
all the time,
Right.
like where you look sideways, and that's what's so fascinating. Like
Mhm.
it just never stops. FBI shows up after like so many months, and it's just like what what the hell, you know?
That was a little bit like, whoa, wait a minute, what's going on?
Yeah, exactly. And it just never stops. And we get like little details, and we're all like, oh my gosh, throughout the whole process. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, Terry. Once we get Richard up here, um, we can rotate through. No problem, hon. If you can do it. Are you coming up, Richard? The link's right there in the chat, buddy. Yeah, that was another good point, Ray. I didn't feel that he had enough experience for that either, but that's their protocol, I guess. I saw a few other people that were probably way more experienced, but I guess that's just the way they do things.
I mean, there was an obvious reason why they chose him. We just don't know about it. We're not privy to that part of, their choice and selection and stuff.
Exactly. That is very true. Hello, hello. Can you hear me okay?
Aloha, guys. Just a
Aloha.
second. Just a second.
All
I
right.
can hear you. And okay, now I'm back to professional. Hey, what up, guys?
Hi.
How are you, buddy?
Hey, no, I'm good. I'm good. Today, we're actually experimenting with my new Esther, the projector camera.
Okay.
So, well, it's working. So, all right. No, why would I insult the families or the victims? I mean, I don't know why you said that, but I will not.
I didn't hear what you said. Say that again.
No. You mentioned Richard. You can come up, but please don't insult the families, the victims, and everything.
No. It wasn't directed at you. I say that to everybody now. I just don't want any of the victims or families to, I didn't mean not insult, just, be respectable and respectful of them is all I'm asking. That's geared at everybody, not just you.
Right on. Aloha. Aloha golf. I mean, yes.
Hi.
I can hear you. Hi.
It's good to talk to you. And you have a very nice setup there. If that's like a projector, wow, I have to say.
Oh, you know what? I forgot. I'm playing the Masters of the Universe.
Oh.
I'm not kidding. Though, well, I meant to have it going so we go filmation and everything.
Gotcha.
Anywho, I mentioned that obviously I have studied this entire case, and I do have my opinions and everything. Though you mentioned that you wanted it to be lighthearted tonight, so I was kind of leaning in. That's why I kind of dressed up a little bit, kind of cheesy. I wanted to be a little bit lighthearted-y.
No worries. No worries.
Now, we know that another channel of ours, she has, well, she's got her projector. Well, the one you guys are seeing me on is 4K, and I named her Esther projector.
Okay.
Not Hector projector.
Gotcha.
So you're playing homage a little bit tonight.
Well, I'm a really odd reality. I can tell you that. It's not necessarily homage. My entire project. I mean, see, I do art and video and this and that. And Kitty just totally attacked me. He attacked me. He wanted to snuggle, and he stepped on my thing. Hello.
We're here.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Scrappy Doodles. Now everybody wants to talk to him, though. Well, maybe later. But he came in from outside, and he's like, "I want to suck all on your neck." I was like, and it startled me.
Gotcha.
Okay. This case, I do have many thoughts, many thoughts. Hey, chat. Hey, moderators and everybody. Hey, aloha. This is the Richard. Yeah. There's so much going on, confusion-wise, which makes sense that nothing is going to make sense because everything that we're being fed or offered, that's two different things. We can get material one way or the other. Either we're fed it or we're offered it or we understand it. So there's a lot of information coming out, and not all of it is exactly, truthful. So I do feel really, really strong about this case. It's so frustrating. And the FBI coming back, I mean, that kind of means something rather big, because they already knew that all the remnants had been taken out. And we see Chief Fry driving with his smiley face, driving all of the stuff that he was going to give back to the families, which never happened. All right, so we've got that. So the FBI being back there, I'm leaning in. That's not a bad thing. I think that's a really good thing.
Okay. What's your reasoning behind that?
I don't believe this case is, and actually, I've said this from the beginning, and on a lot of channels, I've not fully gone into it, and I know that some are not necessarily going to want to hear this. I don't think that a 29 or 28-9-year-old horny incel after pretty girls, I don't think he was the target. I think that this was actually something on a bigger scale. And I think the FBI coming back in is actually kind of coming in to seal the deal on the investigation from their perspective, not local PD.
Okay. So, I mean, you're saying that you think that they're coming in to do it the right way, or to close it up the way that it needs to be closed up, or I mean,
see, it's really tricky. I mean, I've had 3 theories, only 3, as a matter of fact, only 3. The first one, when I heard about this, he's a serial killer and he wants to get under his belt. He wants. Yeah, that was my very, very first thought. Because you guys, if you understand me, I am a horror, or I'm an artist. My introduction. Oh, hey guys, aloha, the Rich. I do a lot of spooky stuff, though I've always been working with kind of darker and more mysterious things, including including a lot of things, though never with actual blood or violence or negativity towards anyone. And I abhor, I hate to see real blood. So I didn't want to take on this case, though for whatever reason, I was drawn to it. And so I started thinking about it. Okay, that guy, Brian Koberger, what they presented to us, it sounded like he was the smartest guy in the room. And it also said, for the very, 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 I'm just talking the first like 3 or 4 weeks, I was thinking, oh my gosh, he was doing this because this would up his game of everything that he's been studying. It did make sense at that point. I no longer feel that now. I don't feel that now. There was another theory that I had around that same, like actually the first 2 weeks, that his father. Anyway, but yeah. Okay, so we can move on from that. It wasn't that. Now, I've really been actually, and I can say this proudly. Where's the camera? I'll say this proudly. I have been collecting evidence, and I've got about 6,000 pages of notes that I've taken from all of your guys' channels, everybody's channels that I've watched. I save all of the chats, and I type in my notes and everything. I've got over 6,000 pages of notes. I really feel like, and it doesn't matter if you think I'm wrong. It doesn't matter. It's just a theory, right? It's just a theory.
Right.
The one thing that cannot be disproven, out of all of the information that we get, it cannot be disproven that, and some people are going to shout in chat. People are going to shout in chat. That's okay. Though literally the one thing that cannot be disproven is if this was okay, let me get the verbiage right. Okay. This is a bigger case. The FBI, and I'll give another disclaimer real quick. I know that one of my most beloved friends in the world, she's not going to be happy about this. I think that this case is a scenario in which Brian Koberger is an agent, and the end game was obviously not for him to get executed, though they were after somebody or something more massive. And this could be, I mean, there's that whole, there's just a lot of things. Though I'm just going to leave it at that. I really.
A lot of people have had almost the same theory, Richard, that he was involved in something else, and it was stated that there were parallel investigations going on over there as well. Okay, there is no proof of that. Obviously, at this point, we're not going to see that if there was.
Right. And I'm not. The one thing that I can say is that it really clicked like a spur in me way back. And I know when you read the chats of any channel, oh, I was this, or I always thought that. No. This is a slightly bit different. But anyway. So I'm just putting that out there because, it's really fascinating that the FBI are back here. So what are they doing? They are the only thing that they're literally able to do is to do a schematic structure of the house. They can't even do the regular rooms because of all the everything that's lacking. So that's a very interesting thing.
Right. And based on that statement that Sherry just put up there, the FBI is not lead on any case unless requested. This is not a federal case. It never was. Okay. That's something else to take into account with this. This is not a federal case. Therefore, the FBI does not automatically take lead on this. It has to be requested or put into their hands in some sense. Okay. They can't just walk in and say, "Here we are, it's ours. Step back, we got this." It doesn't work that way.
Well, now hold on, because there is one thing that could alter that scenario, and that is the fact that they let him cross so many state lines, number one, and that he ultimately made himself a fugitive by doing that.
Yes, that is
So
true.
that could actually be a part of this that could come into play later. I don't know about these like borders and stuff like that, but I do know that if you're considered a fugitive, then that automatically puts you on a federal level. So
Right. And that's,
I don't know if that was done on purpose or,
it's possible. It is possible. And you're correct about that. 3 states, I think it's 3 or 4. Is it 3 or 4 states it takes, and then it becomes that issue where you cross the state line? I'll have to look at that. I don't know for a fact, so to state it, I can't say it. But
well, the timing of it for that to come into play, at least in my head, because I was not aware of any of you guys. I was not aware of the case, or I had seen news things of the case, this and that, and I kept turning it off, even though I have books of essays and I'm I study them. Though I kept turning it off. I wasn't interested until I guess they got him, and he looked like me in that in one of the angles. I was like, oh my God, that could have been me. For whatever reason, that's what popped in my head. And so then, and I guess this is the 29th or the new year. That's when I went full on, like, wait a second. If this was me, like if he's guilty or not, like if he's not guilty, it could have been me, that kind of thing. And then that's when I started studying, and I started meeting you guys, getting to know you via chat and this and that. And I started using my little noodles up here and everything. So yeah, the fact that it did cross the states, the multiple. I live south of Indiana, and knowing the trajectory of Pennsylvania, and then he also went down to Nevada, and some people are saying Colorado. He took his time, but though I understand he was down in Nevada.
He was up around Colorado and all that too. The only thing with all of that, and I will say that I forgot about that too, and he never was running. He never was running from anybody. He wasn't being chased either, from what we were told. So in turn, how does that play out that way? You know what I mean?
Correct. Like, but that's an issue though. If they considered him, they could still consider him a fugitive, even if he did not run, because
Right.
he did leave the area. So that's all I'm saying. And I don't think you have to run for that to be considered that. But you
Okay,
see,
and that's what I
I don't know enough
right.
of laws and all that for that, how that turns
That's
over
something I wanna
to
look at too.
federal.
That's a good point because I think I can't say I think because I don't know, and I'm gonna look at that because that's
Mhm.
interesting. If you're not running, and I think do you have to be informed that you're being looked at?
But that's the thing. That's the part that I'm wanting to know as well, because if he wasn't questioned in this to begin with, like we think he wasn't, right? If he
Right.
wasn't questioned and he had no idea that he was a person of interest, then what would that be? What would that look like?
That's
So,
right. Thank
yeah.
you. And thank you, Marietta, very much. But yeah, that's a great point. And then Sherry again says if he was a fugitive, he would have been arrested during his traffic stop. That's my thought too. And then,
And he would have been arrested before. I mean, at what point would he become a fugitive? I mean, if they think that, okay, so on the 19th, I believe that's the date. I could be wrong, rubbing my third eye here. I could be wrong. So if that's the date that they suspected him, why did they wait 4 days to at least not pull him over and have a traffic stop, or at least invite him in for a conversation?
they should have done that. They completely had him at one time in November. They should have done it the right way at that point and had kept hold of him, brought him in. He probably would have willingly went in and done it, seeing the way he's reacted already.
Given
Swabbed
his DNA, he would have probably done all that.
all of that.
I feel he would have. Yeah,
did every bit of that. They could have done that then, rather than the way they did it in Pennsylvania. And that's what seems weird about this to me, and
Mhm.
always has. Why did they let him go? Why did
Exactly.
they're saying what if you remember golf? They're saying and that they didn't have enough or anything to make them believe that he was a person of interest at that point. Wasn't that the way it was put?
Well, I mean, the way I read the PCA is that they needed the proof, and the only way they could get it was through trash DNA, which makes absolutely no sense
None at
whatsoever.
all.
Like,
None at
why do
all.
you have to go through all that? Have the dude drive like how many states over for you to get somebody's trash DNA if you're already investigating him? Because they were, as you say, they had him in November,
Right.
already. So
and following him
that's what I'm saying.
2,041 hours or
Yeah.
miles. Yeah.
This is why this makes no sense to me because the man he was right there. He was sitting on their lap. Okay, you know, hey Brian, we're such and such. We'd like to ask you a few questions. Would you mind coming down to the station with us? He probably would have said, absolutely. Here, can we have some DNA? Would you take this swab? Here's a glass of water. Whatever they would have done, however they would have done it, they could have done it all right then, had it all what they needed right then, but they didn't do it for some reason.
Mhm.
Okay. That is what has always bothered me.
We're
Always.
talking about the that little region, and I even watched this. It was on National Geographic. They were showing that region of I guess Western Idaho on Eastern Washington, and then the northeastern of Oregon, and they wanted to be they I mean, they're literally trying to create their own state. They want to be their own because West Washington is very 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 liberal left wing, whereas right wing. And I don't mean to make this political, though that is literally what National Geographic and the news have been saying. I watched all these, and they were showing the drawings where they really wish that that area could be separated from the other area. And it's really odd because also, even before that, back in maybe March or April or something, I saw the videos of individuals. I can't remember if it was police or whatnot, though they were saying that essentially the Washington and the Idaho Pullman, Washington, and whatever they pull everything, their resources are pulled essentially. And so when that thing happened on December 13th or whatever, that thing, it was also somebody from Idaho who did the thing. So all of this, it is really, it's like a big old bag of Play-Doh, and you just kind of mix it together. Those guys want to be in their own little universe. So why Brian Koberger? Because he's an outsider. I mean, that's an easy thing. I don't necessarily, I mean, that would be kind of dumbass for them to do if they would have done his homework and they saw that, oh wow, he knows everything. What his ties were with Pullman, Washington, the PD. So I mean, I'm just leaving that out there. I do think that has something to do with it.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for your opinion and your 2 cents, Richard. I appreciate that very much.
And one thing, if you don't mind, because I've mentioned my project, could I have like 1 minute, 60 seconds? I'll tell you all about my project.
Sure. Go ahead. Go ahead.
All right, the Richard's Traveling Underwater Lounge. This is what I've been working on for the last couple of years to figure out. Though it is essentially everything that I've ever done in my life, including like art and poetry, music. Oddly enough, I've got a keyboard over here. Though I also design freaking board games and stuff, and this has all been for fun, essentially. Though next year I turn 50 years old. And instead of going into like kind of a depressive, oh, good God, man, I'm turning 50, I'm looking at it like, holy crap, man, I'm turning 50. Yes, that means everything that I've ever done is a good idea. Or, I mean, it's something like I can work with. It's like my arsenal, my creative project, like turning houses into haunted houses and doing my storyboards and doing all my music videos, this and that. So anyway, the Richards Traveling Underwater Lounge. That's why I changed my name to The Richards Art instead of just The Richards. I mean, I'm in a good spot, and getting to know you guys over this last year has been incredible because it's taken my mind off of all my filmmaker friends and everything. I've been able to actually go into a whole new world with you guys, and that's what's really trippy. I've made a lot of good friends. So I'm feeling really confident about what I'm doing now. I've got so many cool things. So anyway, Dago, I love you so much.
You seem super creative, I have
Thank
to
you,
say.
buddy. I appreciate that very much.
Very
So.
cool. Very cool. Super.
You mentioned, thank you. You mentioned depression. My project is it's a show. The reason why it's taken me 2 years is because I'm trying to come up with a 7-minute sizzle reel type trailer. Though essentially, once I get that done, the rest of it is a show, and it wasn't intended to be on YouTube. I have been plotting and planning. No guarantees yet. I'm still working on it to be on PBS, Public Broadcasting Education, because even though I'm creepy, I woke up one morning a year and a half ago and I saw Quentin Tarantino on Public Broadcasting. And I thought, oh my God. And he was talking about his favorite movie critic. That's when I realized if Tarantino can be on educational, I want to too. Because I want to be able to teach people how to do some stuff, as well as one thing that I've not really gone into detail yet. I've gotten off of all the prescription drugs and the addiction and the withdrawal. And you were talking about the depression earlier. I'm also including that, and I'm talking to doctors and people online, very, very, very famous individuals. I'm pulling them in, however the fuck I can. I got a lot of people involved, so it's a really neat thing. Anywho, okay, so I guess 1 minute.
Let me just tell you, Richard, that I think it's like a creative outlet is always a good way to go. And
absolutely,
if it makes you happy, it's the best thing in the world. So good luck with that.
I wish you the absolute best with that, Richard. Absolutely. And I really appreciate your thoughts on this and your input. and I'm looking forward to seeing the end phase of your project. I want to definitely see it, my friend. Okay.
Yeah, we want to
Sounds
see the
good.
sizzle reel.
All right, Richard. You have a wonderful rest of your night, and thanks again for joining us. Take care, buddy.
Love and aloha. See you.
Bye. Diego, I'm going to jump off too. It's a little bit late here, and I'm going to hit the sack here and go to bed. And
Absolutely.
I'll continue watching you. And thank you for having me on. It was a
Always
pleasure.
a pleasure for me. Always a pleasure, and thank you again. I'm looking forward to seeing you again soon, Golf.
All right. See ya. Bye, guys.
Have a wonderful night, hon.
You too.
Bye bye. Okay, where was it? Terry, are you still interested in what you wanted to say, my dear? Or thank you, AR. And oh my God, it's 1:30. Good Lord, I didn't even realize that. I know I went late. When I go late, I always forget what time it is. Let's see here. If just one perp I have issues with. Mama 5, 11 Aloha, Richard again. Yeah, again, Golf, thank you for joining me tonight, dear. I appreciate your input always. Always. It's always an honor and a pleasure for me to have you up here to speak with. And anywhere I've been with you, it's always been a pleasure. So thank you again, Richard. You're always so very interesting, Richard, and I really do wish you the absolute luck with your project. I've heard about it a couple different ways and a couple different times, so definitely interested to see the outcome of that. That's right, guys. Don't forget, we have to set our clocks back. We get that extra hour. It's actually in about a half hour. It's going to be this 2 o'clock. It'll be 1 o'clock, so we jump back an hour. So I think that's probably going to do it for tonight then, guys. Fall back tonight. That's right, guys. Thank you again, guys, for joining me tonight. Yes, it is NASDAQ. It is. I'm sorry, hon. Oh, there she is. Okay, hold on a second, guys. Miss Terry, can you hear me, dear? Are you there? AR. Hey, listen, we're gaining an hour. Can you hear me, Terry? I don't hear you at all. You're muting and then unmuting. You're trying. I'm probably going to be revisiting this on Monday, by the way, you guys, because a lot of people weren't able to come in here because it was so late. We do get a free hour tomorrow. That's correct, Sherry. By the way, Terry, if this doesn't work out tonight with this, if we do this, if you want to come in Monday during the day, I have a new way that you can call in and it'll call right through my computer now. It'll be a lot easier for you if this is not going to work for you. It doesn't seem to be connecting. It's not. I don't hear anything. I'm sorry, hon. Nothing. Okay. It's not taken tonight. I'm sorry, Terry. We will get you in here. At least Monday, if nothing else. Okay. Shelly said yes. Some people want it stopped. What are we talking about, Shelly? I don't see it. Okay, guys. Well, either way, we got to get Terry in here. Hopefully, we can get her in here Monday then, because it's just not taken tonight for some reason. Oh, the hour difference, right? I got you. Again, guys, I hope you enjoyed this tonight. I want to talk more about that IgG stuff Monday. I really do, because I've got some weird issues with that. And again, the way that it's working out, it's confusing in a lot of ways to a lot of people. So again, thank you guys once again for joining me tonight. I really do appreciate all the support that you all have given me throughout all of these weird things that are going on, and different things that are being said, so on and so forth. So, okay. So again, thank you all for joining me tonight, guys. I really do appreciate you guys. I was trying to read something. I really do appreciate you guys. As always, you guys are an amazing, amazing community, amazing group of people, and just so very supportive of in every aspect. I love you all so very much for that, guys. Do me a huge favor, guys. Don't forget to love yourselves and to love each other. And don't change a thing about yourselves, guys, because you are so very amazing. I absolutely adore you all. I hope you all have a beautiful rest of your weekend. I will see you guys Monday. Have an amazing night, folks. I'll see you on the other side. Take care. Bye-bye.